King.
Gemini King, Mike in the night, and the Gemini crew. Ooh.
Oh man. Oh man.
Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
People of the night.
Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night.
Oh yeah.
Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world.
Give this page another curl,
'cause you're here with us tonight.
I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, People of the Night. Welcome to Mike in the Night. Oh yeah. Broadcasting from a secret location here in Hong Kong, away from all the stress and all the tensions that are out there right now on the streets. And whether you're watching us from your condo in the sky or your cabin in the woods, maybe a camper in the woods, or you're couch surfing, or just on a car on a road trip, or relaxing on your lazy boy, crack open a window, sit back, relax, get some tea or coffee, because you're tuned in to Mike in the Night. I'll drink to that. The voice of the Commonwealth. That's what they're calling me. The voice of the Commonwealth. A lot of people don't know that English is my second language, probably my third, depending on how you want to break it down. A lot of people don't know that, right? That's why my reading is atrocious. I think I have a grade 6 reading level. I could broadcast this show if I had to in Spanish or Portuguese, if I had to. I got a pile of shout-outs from all over the world with people watching the show. I've been getting a lot of thank you letters from people all over the Commonwealth. I'm getting on average 30 to 45 emails per day from all over the Commonwealth, people thanking me for them not buying a property. So for many years, this channel's platform has been built off to do not buy property, it's overpriced. Do not buy property, you're going to lose your job. Do not buy property, you'll never pay it off. The key in life 20, 30 years ago wasn't to purchase a property and then have to pay it off for the next 40 years. The key in life back in the good old days in the 70s and 80s, even up into the early 90s, you could pay your house off in 5 years. You don't have to carry a mortgage for 1 million years and keep you enslaved. So I've received a ton of thank you letters from all over the Commonwealth. Thank you so much, people, for that. I really appreciate that. And people visiting me. I want to thank everyone that's come to visit me at my shop. People from Alberta, people from Manitoba, people from northern BC, people from the lower mainland, people from the States. Thank you for coming to see me this week. I had maybe 14 visitors in total this week at my shop. I'm one of the very few accessible YouTubers that you could just go walk in and say, hey, how you doing? Anyways, okay, so we got a big following I no longer believe how many people are viewing this live in the current viewers on this. I do not. Because I have received an email from a gentleman named Egon, who lives in Reykjavik in Iceland. He tells me, like, I'm not joking, okay, that even before COVID, even like during, like when they do like webinars or they talk or they go to work or they're talking with friends, they all catch this show. They catch this show and they talk about it. You know how back in the 80s you'd watch an episode of MacGyver, then you'd talk about it the next day with your friends and say, hey, did you see MacGyver that day when he fell out of a plane and he ended up making a parachute out of a t-shirt? Well, people are watching Mike in the Night. So this gentleman here, his name is Egon. He's in Reykjavik in Iceland. And he tells me that him and a group of other people and roommates watch Mike in the Night live, and it's like 2, 3 in the morning there. And he says that I am very known here 100%. So this is really kind of strange, you know, like a place so far out. I don't even think they speak English. I think they speak Icelandic tongue or something else there, but they pick up the show and they watch it religiously there. And then there's another Logran, who lives in Selfoss, Iceland, who watches the show, and there's about 20 people in Logran who watch this show live, or 30 in the morning, early in the morning they wake up. Which is weird. How far you could reach people, or how much, you know what I'm trying to get with this, right? That's a huge... It's an interesting measure, you know what I'm saying? It's an interesting way to see things. You would never fathom that, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so we got the comments going full blast. We got Donaire saying, we need Mike on CNN. No, I go on CNN, they won't even let me on. We got Matthew Ilo, hi Mike. We got Anthony Ruvalakaba in the house, saying nice. Tignim, hi everybody, how Mike. Spark Drive in the house. Axel Rose saying that's water cooler talk. Mike Martins, yep, that's what it is. Real Kevin Thompson says cases are spiking up in Texas. No, they're not. Well, I'm not going to say anything about that, but there's things going down. So Axel saying join my live webinar in 5 minutes to make 20K a month. Woo! Oh, man. Okay, we got Cy Sharp in the house. Steven Sewell in the house. And Samson in the house here in the comments. So don't forget to join us here in the comments if you want to be part of the family or be part of what we got going on. This is La Cosa Nostra here. People of the Night with Mike in the Night. So, guys, thanks for all the emails. I want to thank... João Manuel in Albufeira, Portugal, who used to live in Canada, now is living back in Portugal. Was born in Portugal, lived in Canada like me, I'm Portuguese, and now he's living back in Portugal. He's been there for a year and a half, and he's grateful that he left, type of thing. His name is João Manuel, and I want to thank Neo in South Beach for checking into the show and being part of the show and sending that package to my place. Thank you, Neo, from South Beach, Miami Beach, Florida. All right, guys, let's get into a quick channel plug for a few seconds here, and let's get into current affairs. That's what we do. And what's going on, guys? What do you want to talk about, essay? What do you got on your mind? Well, there's quite a bit thing. That's why we don't put titles on the show. You go to Mike in the Night, it's just some algorithmic Mickey Mouse thing I throw up there. Because, one, I don't want the algorithm to pick up. Here it is, article scan, guys. Here it is, guys. Right now, tonight's show is called All Along I Was Never in Doubt. And Mike in the Night, go back to shows that are being watched. Actually, every show is being watched regardless at any time through the day and night. Trends in the housing market is on fire again because of the housing situation we're going in. Business Talk, don't forget to check that out. And Strata Mafia. Guys, this video has no views. Strata Mafia is a good video because people have to spend hundreds of $1,000s to service an elevator. Here it is. There's the buttons in the elevator here. And insurance costs, strata fees. It's absolutely phenomenal. And look at the price of a place in that area. That's like in Metrotown area, 929,000 Canadian. That's about 800,000 US dollars. And then, of course, I pick up a place for 200 grand in Florida to show you guys, with a marina, a marina, beautiful. See if I could get that here so you guys could see. And you guys can see what I'm talking about. I really hate to see people getting ripped off with real estate. I really do. I hate people getting like that. You can live in that. You should see the ceramic flooring. Watch this video. See how much bang you get for your buck in Canada. See how much. Look at that. 200 grand. You can get a mortgage for $450 a month. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it, and I don't think I ever will. Guys, thank you for buying stuff on the Teespring store. I really appreciate it. Guys, I do have the Merit Stalker mug in. Everyone's been asking me to make a Merit Stalker. There it is, the Merit Stalker. If you've seen the Merit Harassment series on my channel, there it is, the Merit Stalker. Diane Bronson, the Merit Stalker. So if you guys want to pick up a Merit Stalker mug, go ahead, guys. And I got the Merit Stalker Covey mask right here. A new Covey mask. The Merit Stalker. And it's not even expensive. I think it's like $11 and $5 shipping for a Merit Stalker mask. Don't forget to check it out and buy something at the store. I want to thank everyone that's been buying stuff regularly from the store. People from all over the world. There's a link to the shop there. Guys, if you want to send me show tips, go ahead and send me some show tips on Instagram. I'm here for you guys. If I don't respond, it doesn't mean I didn't read it. I did look. I went forward, you know, kind of. Don't forget to check out the McChronicle. He's been pumping up my channel a lot lately. Check out the McChronicle, guys. I'll give you a link to his channel. He's one of the satellites here on the channel here, satellite channel here. And Gemini King. I'm going to plug his channel tonight. Mike in the Night is on here. So if you guys are looking for the Mike in the Night song, it's on here. On Gemini King channel. Check out Gemini King Topic, and you guys will find the Mike in the Night song if you guys want to hear it. Alright. Okay, let's move on to what's going down. People of the Night. Welcome to Mike in the Night. Alright, here we go. So let's start with, I kind of feel that this one's kind of important here. So this is from the South China Morning Post. And I kind of want to throw this one out there. Where did that article go? There was a really important article here. Oh, they changed it already. Okay. China's allies and loggerheads over... No, this is not what I'm looking for. Okay, there's a closure in Shenzhen, a U.S. consulate closure in China. Hong Kong has energized its economic electric trans for the 21st century. There was a story here that I wanted to tell you guys about. It's very important. Here it is. You guys need to hear this. Watch this. U.S. puts record... Oh, come on, man. Come on, don't do this to me. U.S. puts record number of eyes in the skies off the China coast in July. So in July, the U.S. has been putting a lot of those spy planes, a lot of those satellite planes, a lot of those ground whatever planes. The U.S. has been actually watching China real close. Trump's Chinese lab theory may be weakened by FDA's bat virus finding. Officials very worried as Hong Kong tops daily record with 133 cases. Whatever, they could blast whatever they want, but it's up to us to decipher what we think. HSBC, takes to China's social media to defend role in Hawaii inquiry. China complains of U.S. forced entry into Houston consulate. Chinese police find woman's dismembered body in septic tank. Husband detained. And U.S.-China trade negotiators set to hold talks on progress of Phase 1 deal. So they're looking at getting something together. That's from China. So let's move on to our friends over in Zero Hedge. Now, obviously, there's massive unrest in the United States. It is election season. And that's usually what happens in the United States. Once election season hits, it's kind of like it's open season pretty much till December, right? And if the person that wins democratically and gets voted in, and I guess the left does not like that idea, then you got 4 years of chaos, right? So how do you, damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, how do you kind of put it together and make sense of it? That's the question, right? All right, let's go to the comments before we get over to Zero Hedge. Hong Kong have been handing out money to its citizens. Then we got what you need is to see Mike Martins dressed up as a Fred Flintstone. That's from Mike Banks. And then we got Anthony saying, man, what's with the Chinese and dismember? I don't know, man. That's like a huge thing that happens there. So we got David Xavier saying, I wouldn't want to be in Portland, Oregon. Now, we could call somebody in Portland, Oregon right now. I think he's here in the chat, actually. Find out what the heck's going on down there. I heard there's a little bit of unrest or I don't know. Okay, anyways. Protesters erupt across country. Black militia members accidentally shoots comrades in the park. So I guess they mistaken them for comrades. Highly trained soldiers shoot each other by accident. Friendly fire that happens, right? Record 170 tons of physical gold were just delivered on the COMEX. Here's why. 3 elements caused physical delivery on the COMEX to have reached record highs this year. Strong demand for the futures, a persisting spread between the price of the futures and New York versus spot, and arbitrage. Animated map of what Americans search for on Google over the last decade. All right, let's check this out and see what people are looking for. What are people looking for? Number 1, Facebook. Number 2, YouTube. Number 3, Amazon. Number 4, Gmail. Number 5, Google. Number 6, weather. Number 7, eBay. Number 8, Yahoo. Number 9, Walmart. And number 10, Yahoo Mail. Those are the top things that America or people across America have been looking up. That was refreshing. The India-China border issue, guys. I'm telling you, we talked about this last week. We talked about it the week before. We're talking about it again. India-China, Sindhu-India border dispute has been it's been on and off since the 1960s. Okay, China keeps pushing India, and then after the second India says we're gonna ask America for help, China pulls back and says that it was India's fault. They've done that 3 times already, and it looks like it's just going to be the same thing over and over and over. Okay, U.S. closer to developing small nuclear reactors that sustain life on the moon and Mars. The goal is to have a reactor, flight system, and lander ready to go by the end of 2026. Yeah, you know what? Don't hold your breath on that, guys. They're spending more money on war, military equipment, more military equipment, better armor, cyborg robots. I bet you 100. I bet you 100 to 1. If you ask and say, "Hey, let me ask you something here. You have a choice. Let's develop small nuclear reactors that sustain life on the moon and Mars, or develop the greatest Kevlar, top of the line military suit that's super light, but will stop anything and penetrate any radiation, any bullet, any shrapnel, anything, even explosion. What would you rather have? I bet you 100 to 1 they take that Kevlar futuristic suit than be able to sustain life on the moon and Mars. It's all about military. So what's the military angle here? So we could colonize the moon, but why? What's the advantage of it in a war? Are they going to bring back helium-3 to Earth so we could use the helium-3? Because we do have helium-3 reactors that we could use helium-3 for and actually save the Earth's starving energy problem we have. We'd never have to. One dump truck of helium-3 could power the entire planet for almost 100 years. I'm not making this up. Go ahead and look it up yourself, and you'll see why helium-3 is a big deal and why no one's allowed to go to the moon. So I think they're actually throwing this out there to keep, to make people, wow, this is a great thing to look forward to. This is a great thing for me to look forward to, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I've been let down so many times. When I was a kid, we were told by the year 2000 we'd have flying cars regularly. And not just a flying car. I'm talking about everyone would be flying everywhere. That we'd be so technologically advanced that we'd be flying everywhere. And it never happened. Now I ain't holding my breath anymore. All right, let's take a look here at the comments here. What's going on in the comments, people? Okay, quick shout out. I already sent the shout out to Neil in South Beach, Matt in San Jose, California, and Lisa Marie Scott from Dublin, Ireland, up in the morning with Mike in the night. Every Sunday morning. Thank you, Lisa Marie Scott. Okay, let's get to some comments here. It's a lunar gateway, says Cameron. Make it a DMZ and an international exclusive zone, says Never Question. Anthony Ruvo Lacaba says something else. He's talking to somebody in there. Alta Ergrosso says $600 silver coming. So, Lord Humongous, you called into another podcast, says Axel Rose. Oh, Lord Humongous is all over YouTube. Lord Humongous is always watching and hearing and keeping track of what's happening in the back end. We got Brother John in the house. Matthew, if you want to come on the show, is saying Sydney BLM protest Tuesday, mass COVID outbreak statewide very soon. IDK 777 is telling us that he needs to buy more gold. What's in your coffers? What is in your coffers, people? Okay, so let's go back to article scan and see what our friends over at Zero Hedge have to say here. Martinson, we are on our own in the post-COVID war. It's time to be our own heroes because those in charge won't be. That's actually really good. That's actually very good. Florida passes New York for biggest outbreak as 46% of COVID deaths linked to nursing homes. Why central bank policies are fundamentally destructive. Let's connect the dots here with these articles. Could the central bank policies that were put in place by these super educated entrepreneur people that lived all their educated themselves to go work in a damn bank and to go work on Wall Street to learn how to rip people off or screw over the system, so basically they could keep this piece of crap ball rolling even further? Could it be tied to this COVID? All along, I was never in doubt. Tonight's show. Hurricane Hannah makes landfall in Texas. We got someone in Texas we could call and find out an update on that if we have to. We got Pentagon releases satellite photos of greatly expanded Russian presence in Libya. I think the Russians were invited into Libya. I think. I'll get somebody here in Russia. I know there's people watching me in Russia right now. I have another stream going on through another platform, and there's about 803 people watching there right now. I'm just checking it on the sidelines here. I don't do Twitch anymore. I'm just seeing what other platforms is restreaming this. So I got other chats going on here, guys, so don't worry. I'm getting back to this one. Big shout out to Mohammed, who's living in Berlin. Sorry, I almost said Brazil. Berlin. Mohammed in Berlin, thanks for watching. It's probably like really early in the morning there. Okay, let's keep going here. New opportunities, oportunidades for Marxist, climate change, and COVID. Yeah, you see, guys, if you get a basket and you're going to put all the same eggs in it, I think COVID, climate change, all this other stuff is all in that one basket, guys. And I think it's going to, I don't know. It's kind of, I'm speechless. All right, let's see if we can get a caller on before we jump into other parts of the world, other news. So,
hello, everyone.
And yeah, we got our man Donald Trump here.
I have really nothing better to do.
And the soundboard.
Our country is in serious trouble.
Oh, you better believe it. But what are you going to do about it, people? What can you do about it? Call into the show, add me on Skype, Mike Martins 1980, if you want to come on the show and be part of the show. You don't have to be seen. No one has to see you. Somebody says they're going to call me. They're just getting some coffee right now. There's somebody else here saying that they are turning on their Skype now. We got, so many comments here. Okay, holy smokes. Okay. All right, I'm just trying to see who's out here. Just trying to see who's out here, guys. Checking over the Rolodex here on... I'm gonna take these off. I could dance. I can't even see a damn thing. I'm just joking. It's bright in here, so... That actually doesn't... These sunglasses don't actually bug me too much when I'm live. Let's see who we got. Visa-free island. What? Remote visa-free island. What's he talking about? Oh, river. Okay, let's get Liam. Liam, he's been following this. He's in Southeast Asia right now. He's stranded there, and we got Lisa Clark messaging me here. Maybe Lisa Clark wants to come on. Yeah, let's call Lisa Clark. We haven't had her on the show. Let's see what she's got to say here. I don't know what I could say. Well, let's get Lisa Clark on the show.
President Trump.
Hey, Mike.
Lisa, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Where are you?
I don't know who that is.
So sorry, let me just turn up my volume here. Are you in Canada?
No, I am in New Zealand.
Oh, you're in New Zealand. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, okay, so what's going on down there? What can you tell us?
Well, I'm just going to put you, just turn this off for a second, sorry. Yeah, it's probably, I'm in New Zealand.
Yeah, and is there any protests or anything going on down there?
At the moment, no protests. I'm stuck in quarantine.
Oh, I thought you guys were disease free and you guys were free to go.
We are disease free, but only because they're not allowing anyone in.
Oh, okay. So, are you? So you don't go to work? You don't. So you're home basically. How long have you been in quarantine?
I've been quarantined for 2 weeks. I'm in a motel. I'm not at home.
Wow. And is the country pretty much on lockdown? Are all the restaurants, everything closed? Is this the second wave? Are you guys getting the second wave?
Everything is open. Everything is going. Everything's fine.
Oh. Huh. So I guess they're telling people...
Sorry.
So I guess they're telling people just to stay indoors.
No, everyone's out and about and working again.
Okay, so you're in self-quarantine.
No, I'm in lockup. Government, they're taking over hotels and they're putting everyone in. Everyone who flies in has to do 2 weeks in a quarantine.
Oh, I get it now. Okay, so you flew in. Where did you come from?
Came in
Afghanistan?
from London, from
Okay.
Greenwich.
Okay. Now that makes perfect sense. So they're holding people in. Were there any cases? Was there anything happening in London before you left?
Well, there's been cases in London, but having COVID doesn't mean anything. It just means you've got a flu.
That's exactly.
It doesn't mean you're going to die or you're going to pass it on, kill everybody. You've just got a flu. It's not a big deal.
So let me ask you something. Did you have a lot of like temperature scanning and all that stuff in London, or you just basically walked through, checked in, and got on the plane with no worries, or was there a huge hold up there?
Nothing at all. Walked through, got on the plane, no worries.
Yeah. So
2 stops on the way home. 2 stopovers.
And did you notice anything at the stopovers, or everything was pretty cool?
Where was it? In UAE, they were very picky about what we could do. We had to wear gloves and masks.
Okay.
But Bangkok, not a problem. We didn't really get off the plane, so it didn't really matter.
Okay. Yeah, the reason why I'm asking is because everyone's making this seem like this is the end of the world, but the more we see or the more we hear or the more people go with their live cameras and go into hospitals and they're all empty, and hospitals are closing down because they're running, in the States, hospitals are filing for bankruptcy because they're empty.
There's nothing going on at all. There's just nothing happening. People are listening to the news and the news is exaggerating it to beyond belief. It's crazy.
I know. I'm beyond. So what do you? I mean, can I ask you why you think this is why? What are they trying to pull here, in your opinion?
I think they're trying to just cover up everything else that's going on, and I think I've got an opinion about New Zealand. I think they're trying to make people so scared of traveling that New Zealanders and Australians who like to travel will now be too scared to go overseas because if you travel, you'll get COVID and you could die. So no one's going to want to travel. I think it's kind of they're trying to get into our psyche. It's almost brainwashing us to not want to travel anymore. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong.
One of my very good physician doctors, a good friend of mine, he told me that you have a better, he told me, this is what he said to me. You have a better chance of dying in a plane crash, like going to the destination you're going to, than you do of catching COVID and dying from it.
I totally agree with him. Absolutely.
So where do you see, okay, they're covering things up. What do you think, is it they try to use global warming or climate change or whatever they call it for the week?
No, yeah. And Greta. Oh, look, there's all this sort of crazy stuff going on. I know in England, in London, they opened this huge hospital called the Nightingale, and it was going to have 3,000 patients at a time, etc. And they never used it because they never had 3,000 patients in London that they could put in there. The whole thing's been a big scam, but people have just ignored it. The media have just pretended they've been terrified because 13 people died yesterday. I mean, it's just crazy. The whole thing is crazy. But I'm now in New Zealand and they're still paranoid. Even those who are not in quarantine, who are living their lives in New Zealand, are still paranoid about COVID.
You know, I know I can't prove this, but I could bet you 100 to 1 that more people died falling down the stairs yesterday than that apparently died of COVID in England.
Oh, absolutely. That's absolutely. In 2017, 2018, there was a really bad flu in the UK. 50,000 people died. 50,000 people died that year. And yet, so far, we're under 46,000 so far with COVID, and they've closed the country down. They've done all kinds of crazy things. We haven't had 50,000 people die yet. And they did nothing back then.
But this goes back to last week's Mike in the Night, where that guy died in a motorcycle accident in Florida, and his death certificate said COVID.
Oh, I know. The same thing's happened in the UK. They've had car accidents or they've died of cancer, but it's been COVID. It's crazy. They're just lying on the death certificates.
But isn't that like illegal or against the Hippocratic oath, some oath of something that these practice?
I'm sure they word it in such a way that they can get around it. If the person had COVID and they died, then they can say they died of COVID or they died with COVID. So they get around it. But it's a way of just terrifying the people, the sheeple who just listen to the news and believe everything the media say.
Yeah,
And the
'cause-
first thing I did when I got into this quarantine motel was I unplugged the television and I stuck it on the floor because I'm not going to be watching any of that. Thank you very much.
well, that's
We
good.
don't need the legacy media. We don't need that kind of rubbish. We can find out what's going on from people who are in those countries, like yourself.
Yeah, because like here, it's business as usual here. Everybody's out and about doing their things. I mean, I shut down for a couple, like almost like eight or 10 weeks. I shut my business down, but I use that more to get in touch more with my family, stay close with my kids, be more of a family thing. I saw it like that. I didn't see it as, oh my God, we're going to die if we go outside, because nothing was going to happen. And
There's been hilarious footage in the UK of police officers rushing people inside their houses because they were so scared they were going to die of COVID. You know, police officers forcing people out of their front yards into their house because people are dying of COVID. It's crazy. It's been nuts. And I think the same as in America. You've got people going crazy there. This is just a flu. It's just a bad flu.
okay, can we take it 2 steps back?
Yep.
Remember, it is an election year in the U.S.,
True.
and I think a lot of this has to do with this election year in the U.S. I wholeheartedly believe it. I really do. Because remember, the United States of America is the world instrument when it comes to, I guess, dictating or policing the world. And we've gotten used to that in the last 70, 80 years. But I just think it just all ties together, and it's big, high level. And I don't know. I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. What do you think of that?
I think it's a pandemic. I go with that one. They're using it to cover up other things. They're using it to their advantage. I think. I don't know how much it's just. I don't think it's just for America because this is global. Remember, but look at how many people are dying in Africa. Very, very few. And yet in England, we're told that this is a disease that's affecting non-native people in the UK. It's non-native people are being affected more than anyone else. So isn't it interesting that the people in Africa aren't being affected, but non-native English people or British people are being affected?
We got
Strange.
a question for you from Beyond the Pale is asking, Lisa, who pays for your hotel?
The New Zealand government, aka the New Zealand people,
Wow.
because governments don't have any money. But yeah, I think in Australia, in Queensland, I think they're now charging them $3,000 for the joy of spending 2 weeks in quarantine. How nice.
Do you at least get room service?
They bring us the linen and we have to make our own beds. They've never vacuumed the place or anything since I've been here. They don't come in because I've got the plague, remember. I could kill them. They could all die. So they've got to keep outside and keep a distance, and I'll put my lunch or my dinner in a paper bag outside the door. But it's lukewarm generally. I'm sorry, people. The food isn't great. I've had to turn down a lot of meals. I don't want them. But yeah, I don't have to pay for this except when I pay my tax. I will definitely pay for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But hey, we don't have COVID. Isn't that great? You can't come here, but we don't have COVID. So, wow, isn't that great? Kill the economy.
So you're telling me nobody is allowed in the country that's not of the residents, or anyone could come in, but if they want to visit, they have to quarantine for 2 weeks and then they're allowed out? Like,
No, only if you are a New Zealand resident or citizen can you stay, can you come here. But I believe, and I don't know how true this is, but I believe they may still be bringing in immigrants. That's a different story. I don't know the details, but that's sort of what I've been told.
oh, they could never stop bringing in immigrants. They could never do that. They could never stop that. They have to keep that treadmill going. That's got to keep going.
Well, I tell you, Mark, Mick, flying over New Zealand, flying over the airport, the amount of new housing that I have seen, intense new housing, it's incredible. I'm just staggered by the amount
But
of...
the New Zealand proper can't even afford to get into their own housing. Who's buying these homes?
Well, we do. We both know who's buying those homes. Come on, everyone in this room knows who's buying those homes.
Right. Because I'm not saying this in a bad way, because I know that New Zealand has transitioned in the last 11 to 14 years to a nation of renters, because the locals are getting the short end of the stick. They're effing.
It's like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like the UK. The UK, I've got a friend in London. He said to me, I'm never going to be able to buy a property ever in my country. He said, I just can't. I can't buy in London. I can't even really afford to buy outside London.
Even
And
if
this
he
is
goes
the
like
same.
to Manchester or somewhere else?
You don't really want to go to Manchester. It's not very British anymore. I think the trouble there, even if you do go somewhere else, there's no work. You'd never get a job. You'd have to live in London and work and then pay a mortgage for a property you'll never live in. And that you can't rent out either.
You know, I know you know this, but I've been trying to create awareness for this for so many years.
Oh, I know.
This is a really big deal.
Yeah. I mean, I think I found your site in 2015. I think you just moved to Merit, Mike, and you were. I just thought you were an American guy with a cowboy hat on who was talking about New Zealand like you knew something. And I couldn't believe it. You actually did. You did know something. You were the only one I could find on the internet, on YouTube, talking about the New Zealand housing market. And I've been listening ever since, because you do know.
Yeah, and people ask me, have you been to New Zealand, Mike? I don't need to go to New Zealand. You know why? Because I've been to Vancouver, I've been to Toronto, and I know exactly what's happening in Auckland. I know what's happening in Sydney. I know what's happening in Melbourne. Any country that is a free market country, watch out, because your country is being sold out.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the other thing too that's heartbreaking, a house I used to live in back in the 1980s, the whole area has been pulled down, and instead of one house on a section, we had big sections, they're now putting 4 or 5 houses on the same plot of land where one house was. And these houses are 2 or 3 story. Most New Zealand houses are what the English would call a bungalow, single story. Mm-hmm. And they're just basically cramming in as many housing as they can. And it's horrible. It looks horrible for the people living there. There's no gardens for the children. I just think it's hideous. I'm moving out of the city. I'm now living outside of Auckland. Okay. Well, I will be as of tomorrow when I get my COVID test and they say I can leave and they give me the certificate to say I can leave.
Oh my God, a certificate.
I'm going to get a certificate. I don't know what it's going to look like.
Can you take a picture and send it to us?
Well, I could, yes. But should I do a Nancy Pelosi and rip it in half in front of them? I don't know. Mm-hmm. I've not been very cooperative, I must admit. I have decided after the first test that they gave me after 3 days, I had to do a COVID test. And then I said, right, from now on, I'm not coming in for a daily medical check because it's a waste of time. So they haven't really appreciated that. But hey, yeah. I'm not a conformist, I'm afraid. I'm a non-conformist.
That's, it's kind of entertaining how we have so many of us together under one little umbrella. And
I know, it's really amazing.
Yeah.
We're all on the same page. It's quite freaky with the internet. It just brings people together.
You know that we're broadcasting on 4 different other platforms right now as we speak, right? It's not just YouTube.
Hello world.
Yeah, I have like this Russian platform that I'm on, and I don't know why, but everyone just tunes into it. I got like 802 people watching on that one right now. And I have the comments going on that, but it's all in. I can't read it. It's like it's not even our alphabet. It's kind of our alphabet.
The Russians are getting a lot of bad press. The UK government, not the UK government so much. I think it's the media really hate the Russians. I don't know why. I don't see the Russians as being a major problem. Putin doesn't seem to be that bad a guy at all. But,
No. They're just. I don't. You know that obviously Russia is aligned with Venezuela, and the United States doesn't like Venezuela either. Even though Venezuela had one of the most transparent elections on the planet.
I know.
Barometric voting system in Venezuela, and Nicolas Maduro won by 20 million or 2 million or 4 million. No, 4 million votes more than Falcon. And then some guy comes out of nowhere, and they said, "You won the election." And what's that guy? That guy's name? Guaido. They said, "Guaido, you won the election," but he wasn't on the posters.
Who is this guy? No one's heard of him. But this is how it works.
He's never even been on the posters. He never even ran.
I know. Well, New Zealand's got elections this year, and we have. I think it's November. I think we have our elections.
That's correct. It is this November.
This afternoon, I've been listening to a new Zealand party that's come out. It's called the New Zealand Public Party. It's led by a chap called Billy TK. I can't pronounce his last name at the moment, but he really sounds like he's on the ball. He really knows what he's talking about. I'm very excited for what could happen out of this. I don't know if what's going to come, but I know the media at the moment are ignoring him. But he filled the Logan Campbell Centre, which takes, I don't know, 1,300, I don't know exactly how many, but he filled it, and they seem to have a really good rally. I like what he's saying. He's talking about the the United Nations, the 2020 and the 2030 agendas.
Oh, really?
Sounds like New Zealand.
Can you contact this guy?
I could try.
Tell him to come on my show.
Yeah, I could ask him. I don't see why not. You need to get in touch with a chap called Vinnie Eastwood, Mike. You need to do. He's a New Zealand YouTuber, very, very well known.
Really?
Yep. So check out Vinnie Eastwood. He was actually filming out the rally that I saw today. I can't be there because I'm locked up. But
yeah,
tomorrow
you don't want to give no one COVID, right?
Oh no! Well, God, do I want? I'd like to have it. I'd like to say to me, you have a positive, you know. But no, probably not going to say that. So I'd like to have had COVID. I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah. Oh wow. Well, Lisa, I mean, you're full of information. Is there anything else? Is there anything you want to add?
Well, I know one thing I do know is that we're really going to start pushing our current government. Comrade Jacinda wants to push for a cashless society.
Oh, Jacinda Ardern.
Yeah, Comrade Jacinta, yeah.
Comrade Jacinta.
But yeah, I'm worrying about New Zealand. I really am. We are in a really bad place.
I'm also very worried about, but people are like, Mike, why do you care what happens in Australia and New Zealand? People don't understand the domino effect and the Commonwealth.
Absolutely, yeah. We are the West. This is a Western world, and it's being destroyed. And it's Marxism coming in from the States through the universities. It's it's all these things. There's so many different areas it's being attacked, and people just don't seem to put it together. But people here know. You guys in the room know.
Let me ask you something. Are you noticing camera activity being put up in intersections there in the big cities? Are you noticing like some sort of cameras being put up?
In London, because I remember I just come back from London, so I haven't really seen anything of New Zealand. But in London, yes, there are cameras everywhere. In fact, they were having cameras that can identify you. Yes. And they were forcing people to look at the camera as they came forward. One chap tried to cover his face up. He got a £60 fine for covering his face.
What?
I mean, it's just
£60? Yeah. It's like $100 Canadian.
For not letting the camera look at his face. I mean, it's just horrendous. This is the control. The police aren't what they used to be in the UK. Again, it's another problem, the same as we're having in New Zealand too. This is unfortunately a global thing. They're going for a global government. We should be aware of that. That's what the aim is.
The problem is, okay, you have a hierarchy of government system. Let's say you got a hierarchy, and you got one guy that runs the planet, right? Or one party or one organization that runs the planet. And then what? So what? Then what? Like what? They answer to each country? Does each country they can't even govern their own damn countries, and then they want a world government on top?
Oh, there's going to be control. They'll have heavy control. This is what the UN agendas are about. It's control.
But okay,
no one being left behind. Everyone being controlled.
See, this would make sense, Lisa, if we had a galactic federation where it's Earth, and we need someone to represent Earth with all the other planets, right? And like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just talking like
are we all robots? Are we all robots? We're not. We're not robots. We're created to be individuals. We're created to be different. We're created to rub up against each other, and sometimes we'll get along and sometimes we won't. But we're not defined to be under one control like this.
No.
If we're under control, we're under God's control. Beyond that, we do our own thing. That's what we were created for, to be individuals, to get out there and enjoy life and enjoy each other. But this is nonsense, what they're trying to do. It's financial control and it's mental control. It's really bad.
So, okay, they impoverish the locals. The locals can't get into their own housing. They can't even buy in their own cities. The locals aren't getting paid enough to even eat. So we're getting to a point where, like, but what do you see what's the whole purpose and the end game of this? Okay, I know control. I get it. Control. But I brought this up with the other last week's caller, the week's caller before. Lisa, I'm going to be dead in 22, maybe 23 years. Why do they need all this? What's the point if I'm going to be dead? My life expectancy isn't 100, 200 years, right? you only get a few chances in life and you're gone, right? So
Yeah.
what's the...
I don't know. I don't know what control. You've got to realize to me, it's almost demonic.
Yeah.
It's demonic. And I don't understand that side because that's not who I am. I'm on the light side. I'm the side of the light, you know. I'm not in that darkness. And so whatever, I can't penetrate even where they're going to. I don't want to. You know, I want everyone to be free, everyone to have a life, everyone to be able to have freedom of speech and say what they want to say, even if I don't agree with it, you should be able to say it. You know, have a normal life for everybody in the world, not this controlled, I hate to even think what it could be. I don't really want to even look at it, but we need to fight with what we have and keep what we've got.
Well, we saw the whole Project China there in 1945 when Mao and the United States basically liberated the Japanese from the Japanese that were in China, and then Maoism came into effect. Not even 5 months into the new enrollment of the Maoism, they banned music and instruments.
Really?
Oh, they
didn't know that.
Well, music was banned. It was outlawed. You couldn't play music. So,
well, yeah.
So that's what
there
I'm
are
scared
the
of.
Communities that go along with that one. But we'll say no more. I know. Well, don't look at the history of Mao. Look how many millions died in China.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's Marxism. That's where they're trying to bring in. Look how millions died in Russia.
Yes.
You know, we don't need to repeat that. We need to be free. We need to keep our independence. Democracy, it's as good as we can make it. You know, capitalism, it's not the best in the world, but hey, it's a whole lot better than socialism when it's played out in a large way.
You want to hear something funny? You got these capitalistic corporations, conglomerates that are trying to be communist, like Google and all these guys. They're capitalistic. They made their wealth. They've built their empire, but now they want to turn over to the dark side after they've created the wealth.
Yeah, it's like that mayor was it mayor in Portland who went out and they all want him to resign?
Mm-hmm.
These guys come out and they will say, well, we'll basically take over your business. How can you know, even Elon Musk, he realizes that this is not what's going to be good for him and his company. These people just want to take it over. They don't create. Communism doesn't create. It takes what's there and then destroys it, sucks it dry, and then falls apart, because that's communism.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Lisa.
It's been great.
Well, thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight. And the show is getting a lot of replayability. And like I said, there's about 7, I think, hold on, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other platforms where this is being restreamed as we speak.
That's impressive.
Oh, it's
Very
all over the
impressive.
place. YouTube's got the smallest following, but the YouTube is the one where it's mainly all in English, the dialogue. So I usually keep it on that one, right? I had a email earlier from, I just kind of want to throw in Africa there real quick, from Portuguese Africa, from someone in Mozambique who's a health administrator, I guess for one of the provinces there. And I think it's in I forgot the name of the province, damn. I think it's Santa Cruz or St. Louis or something. But anyways, he sent me a letter, an email in Portuguese saying that they had 2 cases and 1 person died in the last month in Africa.
That's sad.
What? No, but
That's sad.
but they're making it seem like it's a big deal in Africa, and he told me to let people know that it's not as a big deal as the media is making it look like.
I've got sponsor kids in Uganda, and they were saying all these people are dying, and I said, but how many people have died in Uganda? No one.
Yeah.
They're saying, oh, yes, but in the West they're dying. I said, yes, I know, but no one's dying in Africa. You guys are okay.
No,
we're okay. It's just a lot of elderly people dying who would have died this year anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. You know, that does matter. It sort of sounds cold saying that, but these people would have died. It's sad, but it's nature. This is how nature works.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Anyway, someone else can give a call, because it's been lovely chatting to everyone. Let me say hi to all you guys.
Thank you.
And I'll be free tomorrow. Yay!
Yes,
Woohoo!
Lisa will be free. Maybe do a selfie video. Say, hey guys, I'm free now. I'm here and I'm out and about in New Zealand. My quarantine's over and I'm not dying of COVID.
Oh yes, exactly. I'm not going to kill the world with COVID. Sorry.
No. Okay, Lisa.
Okay.
God bless you.
Right. Yes, God bless.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That is Elisa Clark in New Zealand, who is in quarantine because she flew in from London, I think 2 weeks ago, and she's been in quarantine for 2 weeks. and the government of New Zealand is paying for her quarantine in a hotel. She said the food is lukewarm. It's okay. It's not your Beverly Hills 5-star food. Okay, shout outs here. I got other chats going on the side here. I can't even read some of this stuff. It's not there's even stuff in Arabic here. Okay, hold on. We got Clara in Oslo, who's watching this show. We got Glenn, Mario, and Leszek. I know Leszek. In Poland, in Warsaw, Poland, watching. I know Leszek. That's Lester. He's always watching me in Poland. Always watching Mike in the Night in Poland. And then we got Octavio in São Paulo, Brazil. Boa tarde, amigo. Grande abraço a você. And yes, I speak Portuguese. It's my first language. Y sí, yo hablo español casi todos los días. All right, let's go back to the English. This comments here on YouTube. Guys, wow, lots of people. Wow, there's over 200 people watching. Anna Key says, let's free Lisa. Anna Key's in Sydney, just outside of Sydney, Australia. We got Blunt News, great call, who is based out of the GTA. We got Big Rob New Zealand in the house. Yeah, 10 old people. And then we got David Xavier saying, call Craig. And we got Lord Humungus saying, you should all read the Grand Chess Board Failure, written by the same asset that wrote the Grand Chess Board. Both good reads. The Grand Chess Board. Craig Cook says, well done, Lisa. Who else? We got Elizabeth. Elizabeth. I talk to her sometimes on Instagram. All right, we got smash the like button, guys. Big Rob New Zealand. Thumbs up for Mike, says Cy Sharp. All right, so we got, who else we got? We got Kimmy, who's watching this in New South Wales. We got Jan and Ken in Auckland, New Zealand. All right, that's enough for shout-outs for now. I got like a whole list of shout-outs. All right, let's get back. Let's get over to Press TV here. Let's go over to Article Scan here. Let's find out what's going on. So we kind of touch base on what's going here. Pentagon releases satellite photos, greatly expanded Russian presence in Libya. New opportunities for Marxists, climate change, and COVID. There's all kinds of stuff. All kinds of great opportunity if you're a Marxist. And let's head over to Press TV, state-run. This is the same type of media that Canada has. State-run media. Canada has already bailed out our media, dinosaur media here several times with taxpayers' money. So international outcry continues after U.S. warplanes harass Iran airliner. I never heard of this. Of course you won't, Mike, because this news doesn't reach here. It's from today's date. Lebanon, Syria, and Yemen keep up the course of international outcry that has followed two American warplanes' dangerous and provocative harassment of Beirut-bound Iranian airliner over the Syrian airspace. Wow. Imagine flying. You're reaching over for your whiskey on the rocks or whiskey cola, and you look out and you're like, why are there warplanes beside us? Yeah, I don't think I'm drinking right now. You know what I'm saying? Lebanon's foreign minister, Nassif Hiti, vehemently commended the Thursday incident that saw the warplanes enlisted with the U.S.-led forces who are illegally deployed into Syria flying precariously close to Manar Air's Flight 1152 that had taken off from Tehran. So you guys know what happened with that accidental... Well, I don't think it's an... Well, I'm not even going to go there. Okay, let's keep going here. What else is happening? Zarif on U.S. harassment outlaws must be stopped before disaster. Israel tells Hezbollah it didn't intend to kill its fighter. Protests hit Portland for 56th day. Trump plans surge of agents. What else we got here? Iran urges UN intervention to stop Saudi crimes, save lives in Yemen. So that's what's happening in press in Iranian state-run media. I have to say that because in Canada's the same thing, in Canadian state-run media. That's what's happening overseas, right? A lot of this stuff you don't catch here, right? Yemen envoy calls for probe into deadly Saudi-led airstrikes. All right, let's head over to the United States of America. So rest in peace, Regis Phil. I used to watch him on Regis and Kathy Lee from time to time. I remember him from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Rest in peace. Passed away today at 88 years old. Chaos in Louisville. Wait, that's in Kentucky. Graphic video. Nurse brawls with train rider after Covey rant. What, man, guys, people, come on, man. Like, all right. NBA checking if LA Clippers Lou Williams went to a strip club while outside of bubble. Oh, come on. Really? This is not news. John Lewis celebration of life continues in Alabama with the service in Selma. What's that? Okay, that's not much here. Trump administration stance, a wake-up call for all communist China after consulate raid, scholar says. Pompeo warns governors of Chinese infiltration in the U.S. and it's happening in your state. Guys, Chinese infiltration's been happening for the last, pretty much since 2010. I've been warning people about this via real estate. I've been warning people about this via selling off of our big corporations and companies and no hires from the locals. So there's like a big company that China bought in Canada and there's no Canadian hires. They don't hire locals. What are they up to? What are they planning? They're communist. What they're not going to tell us. But why are we doing business with communism? All right. And let's get over to Russia Today, RT. Satellite police declare riot amid arson, vandalism, and clashes with protesters. Seattle police. Man, let's get Seattle guy on here now. What the hell is going on here? This is today's date. What the heck is going on here? Let's get our correspondent right now. If he's available. Let me see if he's here. Come on, ¿dónde estás? Where is he? All right, I gotta look him up manually. What the heck is going on there? He's in my favorites. All right, let's give him a call. Let's pick up the damn phone. Hopefully.
I have really nothing better to do. I don't give out my number to anybody.
All right, he ain't picking up. It's one of our Seattle guys who's over by Chop/Seattle area. Seattle, let's see here, Seattle. I thought it's satellite. No, Seattle police declare a riot and arson. Holy crap, this stuff's still going on. This is going to go till the election, guys. I'm not making this up. All right, let's go close to Seattle. Let's see if we could get our guy in Oregon to tell us what the heck is going on there. Let's get Oregon. We'll go one state down of Washington State. See if we can pick up somebody in Oregon. Come on, pick up.
Hey, Mike.
Mitch, what are you doing, buddy?
Not much. Just following the show and enjoying the heck out of it as always.
Hey, let me ask you, what the heck is going on down there? They're talking about, like, give us a breakdown on what's happening in Oregon.
Well, Portland's quite far away, and but I do follow it a little bit, and they've been protesting real heavy for about 50 straight nights, I guess. I guess the nights are the big protests, and it's pretty violent. There's a lot of tear gas, stabbings, assaults, vandalism, damage to cars, and it's pretty much chaos. And Seattle is virtually the same way. It's really bad.
How far are you from the capital?
Oh gosh, let's see.
80 miles?
No. Let's see. Well, it's about 5 hours drive from here.
Wow, to Portland.
Yeah, Portland's up on the border with Washington, up on the Columbia River, and it's on the western half of of Oregon, and I'm 90 miles, 120 miles above the California border, so I'm very far south, but Portland is bad, and I haven't been up to Portland in years. The last time I went up there was to take my wife to immigration up there in downtown Portland, and at that time, that was years ago, there was so many homeless people up there. There was several blocks there in the downtown area that just reeked of urine and vomit, and it just smelled so bad, and they were just homeless everywhere. The homeless never bothered me, but they were everywhere. That was years ago, but I hate to think of what it's like now.
So what happened something happened in your state? Something with some sort of something political happened with one of the leaders. Are they asking for one of the leaders to resign or something?
I'm not familiar with that bit of news.
Okay.
We have a governor that is very unpopular. Oregon, like most states that have used to be conservative that have gone liberal, actually most of the counties in Oregon, most of the geography is still very conservative. But the I-5 corridor from Portland in the north on down through Corvallis, Eugene, on south to Medford and Ashland, all these college towns, they're all full of these young people, and they're the ones doing the rioting. A lot of them are college students. But anyway, the most of the population in Oregon, I think we've got about 4 million people. It's not a real populated state, but are in these concentrated areas, and they're very super duper liberal. And but most of the state is not liberal at all, not even close. Mm-hmm. Or they're all hardworking, independent, old-fashioned, family type of people that have the same values that we think about and we idealize from the past.
So what are they? I'm just trying to figure out what the. Like, I know we're not going to get an answer, but like a proper, like, what do you feel, in your opinion, is causing this?
I don't know how to explain it. Just it's a social wave, and I'll tell you one thing that I've watched literally a couple of thousand vlogs on different topics that could be related or associated with what you're asking me. Mm-hmm. And I've come to the conclusion that Raven was correct right from the get-go. I thought perhaps he was overreacting as far as this is all a big plan, Mm-hmm. I think he's correct. And a lot of really smart people that I listen to agree with him, if not in part, in whole. And so I think that this is partially planned and partially just a manifestation of mismanagement of the financial system and the entire world, where these Apple computers, made iPhones and stuff made over there in China for $50, and they sell them over here for $1,000, and they use sweatshops and everything. The corporations are moving all around, and they're trying to make as much money as they can. And, I could go on and on about it. You've heard all that.
Mitch, what's going to happen when people can't afford to buy a phone anymore? What are they going to back their economy off?
Well, our economy is already, it's already toast, Mike. There's, I think, 175,000 businesses in America that have been shut down. And a good portion of them, perhaps as many as 50 or 75,000 of them, will never reopen. Those that reopen will probably end up failing if they ever have to make a profit. And and our economy, and not just in America, but I'm getting messages from around the world that things are looking real bleak for the future, because we can't just keep printing money, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. And by the way, last week I mentioned the swap lines. What I neglected to mention was the 15 favored nations that the U.S. Fed swaps their dollars for.
Right.
What they take is these phony currencies from these other countries that need dollars. They say, you give us a Japanese yen and we'll give you dollars because Japan is our friend and they need dollars. But it's just all fake. It's all it is paper going back and forth. There's nothing being produced.
I don't even think the paper's going back and forth. I think it's just a bunch of keys on the computer.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah. But I know
by
what
the
you
way-
mean. I know you're old school. I'm old school too. So
Did you read the article down in Southern California in the last day or so? An employee at a Ralph's store, they're kind of like a supermarket. They are a supermarket. Had told a customer, a lady, to put on her mask. She didn't have a mask, and she started yelling at him. I guess she rammed somebody or him with a cart, and then he sprayed her with pepper spray.
I actually read that. It was in one of the articles here where I was reading earlier. Yeah.
Was on Zero Hedge?
No, it was on the other one. I think it was on RT or Press TV or something, but it was on there. Yeah.
But he got suspended for, I think, 4 or 5 days for not following company policy on the escalation mitigation and how to handle the mask issue. And my neighbor just quit her job at Rite Aid. I don't know if you're familiar with Rite Aid.
Oh,
but
Rite
they're
Aid is like Shoppers Drug Mart.
Yeah, pharmacy, a
Yeah.
variety store. Anyway, she just quit at Rite Aid because she's overweight, she's got diabetes, and she's got heart problems. And her employees and boss were arguing about how to handle the customers, who come in without masks, because in Oregon there's still quite a few people that insist on not wearing a mask, and I always give a kudos to them, but she got upset because she's scared to death of this virus. But I'm on Lisa's side. Lisa from England, who was in Auckland in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on hers. Everything she said, I agree with. Everything, and her attitude, I agree with too.
Right. Yeah, no, she's a great caller. We'll definitely have her on more often to give us a perspective too, her perspective on that side of the world too, right?
Yeah, she's sharp and she expresses her feelings very succinctly.
That's good.
But I heard an interview tonight with Bill Holter on USAWatchdog.com, Greg Hunter, and it was a really illuminating interview, and he explained about what's going on in the world with all the debt and where we're headed, and he said all roads lead to gold. No matter how you look at the whole world, the financial system, all roads lead to gold and silver.
Yep, and that's basically something that Lord Humongous would tell you on the show. He always all roads, and that's true. I don't doubt him one bit. Everything is tied to something, and it's untangling this web, Mitch, is basically what we're all after here. We're humans, and we're all after information. We're all always in the know. We're all trying to find that next or we're you know what I'm saying? We're always exploring, no matter what, right? And
yeah, we'd like to have answers, or at least try to believe that we have things somewhat figured out in our minds.
Right, exactly, right? And people would look at, like, some people say, why do you even have this show? Why do people even tune into this? What's the point of this? I'm like, yeah. So it's kind of a different, I guess, a different view that people have. People even ask me, even when they see me in person, like, what's the point of your show? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if they don't see it, then obviously they're not obviously in the know or wanting to be in the know like we are, right?
I think your show, the way that you run it, is very good, and it has an international flavor, which I really appreciate. Some people are, pure nationalists, but I'm more of an international guy like you, and I appreciate that flair and that flavor. Where you have people from all over the world, and I enjoy reading. Although I can't read the comment sections in Portuguese or Spanish or Russian, on the English section, I can read the comments section and follow it and make a few comments. And I really enjoy that participation and to get other people's views on a variety of subjects. Sometimes we have 10 different conversations going to the comments section that may have nothing to do with what you're talking about, but we're still enjoying the show, just as much as if we were just following the listener or the caller or the host or anybody. The comment section is fantastic too.
That's good. That's good. I'm happy you guys like it.
You have a lot of smart callers that are on your show, and they have each one has a different type of character, different type of delivery.
Well, we all have a different outlook on life, right? And that's the whole thing. That's what's the deal here, right?
Different interests, different viewpoints, and different experiences, and it really adds a lot of flavor to it. I enjoy the almost all the callers that call in. I enjoy them.
Good. I'm happy to hear that, Mitch. And we'll be expanding our how do you say, our over time. If YouTube doesn't shut us down, we'll just keep expanding. More people will be listening. More people will want to basically want to be part of it too. And everyone's welcome, right? So
cool. Yeah. So how's your house going over there in Polillo Island?
Well, we're working on it, and you know what? I'm gonna talk. Well, tomorrow I'm gonna talk to my wife about that, on what's happening there, or what's the deal with that there, and kind of do a little follow up on what's happening. I'll let you guys know. I got some photos. Maybe I'll do a video, and I'll do a full video, obviously, when I go to the Philippines. A lot of people are like, "You're building a house in the Philippines for like $3,000." I'm like, "Oh yeah." And it's going to be cinder block, poured concrete, rebarb, and it's going to have 2 stories, and it's going to have 3 bedrooms.
Well, my guess is it'll be more than $3,000, even though you own the land, because you're going to have to put in at least a dug well. Is there municipal water available or a dug well?
There's a dug well on the property because her grandma, my wife bought that land for her grandma to build a house for her, like for her grandma to build. But there's lots of land, like lots.
A few hectares?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really? Well, that soil is so good over there, Mike. You can just walk outside and spit out a few papaya seeds, and within a year you'll be eating papayas off that tree.
Yeah, I know. Kiwis, papayas, oranges, tobacco. Lots of good stuff you could do.
There's some mango, rambutan, jackfruit, boko, coconut.
Mm-hmm. I want a few tobacco trees for myself. I want to cut them. I want to strip the tree. I want to put it on the roof to let it dry. The tobacco. Oh yeah, I want to do it and I want to roll, because I like smoking the occasional cigar. But if I could hand roll it myself, nice and tight, I would smoke a nice cigar. 100%. I would dry the tobacco, do it all myself.
Mike, would you like to hear a sentence in your wife's native tongue?
Go ahead.
Kahapon, nakakita ko og butiki. Gikaon ni ang ipis. Guess what I said?
I don't know what you said.
Yesterday, I saw a lizard eat a lot of cockroaches.
Oh, nice. Good one, Mitch. I'll if I remembered, I won't remember that. But yeah, I pick up a little bit of what my wife says because I speak Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few words, like the days of the week are the same, and like cerrado or lunes, martes, miércoles. Like there's a lot of words that are the same in Tagalog, right? That are Spanish. So I picked that up.
Yeah, domingo is Sunday, sábado is Saturday, lunes is Monday, miércoles is Wednesday. You know, Mike, there's well over 100 different languages and dialects, depending on how you define them, in the Philippines. Most of them are of Malaysian and Polynesian extract, but with a heavy influence of the Spanish language. But because of the isolation of the different islands over the years, they have their own distinct languages, you know. Marcos was Ilocano, and there's Pangasinan, there's Ifugao, there's Waray down in Samar and Leyte in the eastern Visayan Islands in the central region. There's Ilongo in the Negros Island, and then north to Panay, where you've heard of Boracay, beautiful island there. Between Negros to the north is Panay, and that's where they have a different type of Ilongo language called Aklan Ilongo, and there's tribes all over. Down where I live, they have a Blaan tribe and the Tiboli tribe, and then the Bajau or the Gypsies. But it's a completely different culture that nobody knows about. I mean, hardly anybody in the world even knows about that culture. It's amazing how diverse it is.
Cool. All right. That's a little good teaching there, a little good understanding there. I'm going to go check it out for myself. Hopefully when this COVID thing blows over, if they allow it to blow over, I have to properly phrase this. When they allow it to blow over, then I could go down and check things out down in the Philippines. All right, Mitch, I'm going to let you go, buddy. I'm going to do a quick channel plug here, okay?
Okay, good night, Mike, and
God
thank
bless
you. And see you all later. Bye-bye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Okay.
So we got Mitch Madden in Oregon. So he was down there. He was down in downtown Portland, and he just said the amount of homeless, the amount of people. All right, let's go to article scan. Oh, guys, you guys are tuned in to Mike in the Night tonight. Good show for you guys tonight. We've got some already good callers, already some good news. Hopefully, I want to get a hold of Tino. I want to know what the heck is going on in Oregon. I already sent him a message to call me back. I hope he's not in jail because Tino's right in the CHOP area there. He works in the CHOP area, and he could give me a little bit of insight of give us some insight what's happening. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, be part of the channel if you can. Don't forget to set your reminders for other Mikes in the Nights here. I want to thank everyone for shopping over on this. People have been buying stuff on here for Mike in the Night and mugs, sweaters, t-shirts. Guys, I got a new Merit Stalker from the Merit Harassment series. I have the new Merit Stalker mug. Everyone's been asking, like several people asked me in the last week or two for the new Merit Stalker. So here it is, the Merit Stalker, the mug here from the series. And we have also, what else do we have here? And the Merit Stalker face mask for Covey. There it is right there. The Merit Stalker face mask. So if you guys want to pick one up, go ahead and shop Mike Martin's. Links are on the top of my channel here. Right there. If you guys want to support that, go ahead and follow me on Facebook if you want to message me on here. I get people message me on here all the time. Also, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, go ahead and message me here. Any show tips or anything you might have. And yeah, here's the McChronicle, guys. Don't forget to check him out. He's been plugging my channel like crazy. He's been putting up some of my videos and retweeting some of my stuff there. And don't forget to check out Gemini King. I wanted to do a plug for him today because Gemini King is really nice because he made me the Mike in the Night song. So if you guys are looking for the Mike in the Night song, you will find it here on Gemini King channel. Subscribe to his channel, support the guy. Okay, so we got quite a bit happening here tonight. So I want to get a few more callers on before the night is over. So we went over the news in the Middle East. So let's go over what we got here. We got China. And obviously, will the Philippines anti-terror bill crush the boost the communists? Yeah, you got to be careful what side you lean on when it comes to passing these bills, right? Are you going to gain support from the communists or are you going to gain support from the capitalists? How does it work, right? So you got to be careful which way your government leans when it comes to passing laws, right? We covered the United States. We covered the Middle East here and different things happening in the Middle East that we're not finding here in the West. And then we got obviously what's happening in the United States here. And we covered what an angle of which Russia, what is this? Kim Jong-un declares emergency and puts Kaesong City on total lockdown after first suspected COVID-19 case in North Korea. Oh my God, they got their first case in North Korea. Protester shoots another protester while trying to hit car speeding through a crowd in Aurora, Colorado. Oh my God. AP blasts White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany for a political briefing, but reporters keep asking political questions. Interessante. Very interesting, my friends. Wow. Mike in the night. Guys, I wish you guys could see how many things I'm juggling at the same time while I'm doing this show and talking at the same time. You guys wouldn't believe it when you see how many screens or all the stuff I have flowing here at the same time. Okay, so we got, okay, shout out to Kimmy in New South Wales. I already did that one. Jan and Ken in Auckland, New Zealand. Fabrizio in Wellington. Jessica, Lisa. Oh, we got Tino calling back. Yo, Tino, ¿cómo estás?
Hey, what's up, man?
Okay, I'm watching Seattle police declare riot amid arson, vandalism, and clashes with protests. What the heck is happening down there?
Oh, so you know what? How it's been going on with the Portland,
Yeah.
the whole that ordeal. So they decided to send some, of course, the federal to Seattle just because of Trump felt like it. And well, you know what? I want to say Seattle. It's been more calm. This is just more enticing it now because, you have the president sending troops over here. I totally understand Portland, though. Portland's a shithole also that's just been getting slammed with protesting, all the rioting, looting. But Seattle recently, I think they only had, they had like a small protest that turned into just rioting. And just kind of defaced some buildings around like about one or two stores, So now they're sending, of course, like I said, troops are coming over here. So that's enticing everybody.
Okay, have you seen any military traffic or any military movement at all?
No, I mean, what since we live Seattle, surprisingly. There's a big base down south, and it's just south of me of Tacoma. They got the JPL, and they always have military convoys. So there's always
military traffic, as in like military moving around the state, like on the back of trains. You see it on the back of trains,
no,
or
on the road, I-5. They have they always do a convoy, but like I said, they're always training. And that's why it's kind of hard to tell if there's actually like a big presence, like going to the city, but they're always passing through, through Seattle or going through the Bellevue area, heading up north. So there's always a lot of, like I said, there's always a military presence over here, just because we're close to a military base, we're close to a naval military base further west of Tacoma and Seattle. I think it's called Bremerton. That's a Navy base also there. So yeah, it's we always see, from my point of view, I always see them. But like I said, I don't know I forgot how many federal they send over here. But it's you don't see a big presence, and if they I haven't.
Have you seen any checkpoints or closed streets or anything bizarre?
No closed streets. You know what? Since ever that accident that they killed those protesters on the highway, there hasn't been like a big major protest. Just because I guess people are starting to figure out, hey, it's not a smart idea to protest in the middle of the highway. So other than that, this was like a sort of I don't know, like the president kind of say, hey, well, I'm going to send some, just kind of piss you off, So it's going to be interesting. I haven't seen the news, but I know there was, I know the company, they started boarding up their place just in case, because, it could be again, rioting and looting, So it'll be interesting what happens tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I haven't. I could check on the news right now. Or Como News. Yeah, it's just kind of interesting that he decided to send over here. I could understand Portland, like I said. I think Portland. From last time I was reading the news, they were saying they had 60 arrests. People over there. over here, I'm just right now reading. Just says several arrests, but it doesn't tell me the number.
Are you still going to work?
No. Well, like I said, this whole month I've been just at home, recuperating from my knee surgery.
Oh,
So,
and I remember you got surgery. But
yeah,
is your company still open?
Yeah. This company's still opening. They just, like I said, they're just they're closing up downtown for now, just because of the protests, and they might be closed for today and tomorrow, just because the weekends usually get protesters, and they go through. I'm trying to remember what streets they usually go. They go
So
where.
what are these protests? Are these like, do these look like your average Americans, or these look like your average kind of basement dweller guys that play video games and that, like, you know what I'm talking about, right, Tino?
Yeah, basement dwellers. That's what it is. And then you do have some protesters, sort of average people, and you could tell the ones they do the the march. They're respectful. They protest. But then of course you have your basement dwellers or Antifa kind of type of people.
You could smell them, right? Because they don't shower.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just a bad sort of, man. There's a lot of, I don't want to say that, people that smoke weed don't shower, but you can smell it, especially if they just smoke weed all the time,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just those type of people, they got, like I said, there's nothing better to do. Everything's especially still, the governor decided to put on a freeze on all the, like going through phases, just because they're getting nervous that we're getting, still COVID, people getting infected, few people dying. Nothing compared to the other southern states, which have it much worse than us. But he put like a hold on everything, on everybody that were going on phases to get, open everything back up.
Have you heard of this Louisville militia? Member of black-only NFAC militia reportedly shoots himself by mistake in Louisville. Yeah, it looks like let me get the image here. Like, let me show you guys here on the article scan here. That's what it looks like. That looks pretty scary, man. Like, these guys have these, like, heavy duty. They can shoot down airplanes with this stuff. So this is in Louisville rally, and people are really, really armed to the teeth in this image here. I honestly would not involve myself or engage anywhere near these people. Like, these people are armed, heavily armed to the teeth.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about shotgun shells on their chest, like rounds. They got, this guy here's got, it looks like it's a 9mm, and he's got, looks like this is a 22 here. And then these guys have all like AR-15s over here. This guy looks like I don't even know. I think that looks like it's not an AR. That looks like
So those guys, you would consider them almost same as like the white nationalists, basically. What do you call those bungalows? Or the ones that wear those Hawaiian T-shirts. So
this is a March rally in Louisville, Kentucky, July 25th. This is today's date. And like, I don't know, man. I don't think I would, like, wow, here they are. Like, this is an image of them. I think they're just marching on the street. Holy Max.
Yeah. So look, just think about it. Like I said, it's like, there's just the opposite of the white nationalists. Because they also like to parade around in green camo or Hawaiian T-shirts, strapped to with guns and everything. So these guys are the same thing. These are actually more organized. Look at that.
Yeah, this is like an organized. I'm wondering if they have a marching band and the whole thing there.
So hey, these are more. Hey, at least these guys are more organized compared to these other guys. So I mean, but yeah, that kind of will give you a nerve feeling. Just kind of like, whoa, there we go, boogaloos. Yeah, they're just they're just the opposite of those guys. It's it's just guys or people, or the group of people trying to strut their or flex their muscle. Just kind of show, hey, we're apprentices, we're here. But yeah, it's sometimes unnerving. You see people all strapped like that, even though they have you would think they're all qualified to carry those weapons. But you never know. One of those could snap, or whoever, and they go on a shooting rampage.
This is crazy. I've never seen anything like this in the West, like this organized.
Yeah,
I've never seen something this organized that's outside of government. I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
Well, I don't know if you ever remember seeing in the news about those white nationalists when they decided to go with the torches at night.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it was it almost seems like that organization, like that, like walking organized, and but yeah, it's times that we live in like that,
Wow. In Spanish, I would like to describe this. I would say, esta es una pesadilla. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. This is an absolute nightmare.
I don't know. It's just see how it goes, man. It's this is a
nightmare. This is scary. Oh well.
But is their amendment right to carry weapons?
No, I understand, but I guess they have a right to freedom of assembly.
Yeah, I know.
I don't mind. I mean, I don't. But the thing is, if there's,
I think these are more organized than Black Panthers, though. Because just the way they're assembled, and I don't remember seeing the Black Panthers ever that organized.
In the 60s, they actually were. In the 60s, they did have a proper organization in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, no, I'm saying like organization, but just like the pictures you were showing, like they were all organized like soldiers.
Mm-hmm. Like, don't get me wrong, people. Even if this was white people, Asian people, I don't care who. But when you see a marching public military show of force, it's good to see that the people do have the power.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's like, I don't want it to come down to this. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, no, it's it's almost like a tactic. You might as well say, like, be in China and see a whole, an army like that,
Mm-hmm.
It's just flexing their muscles, just saying, hey, you got a problem with us, what you gonna do about it,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the way I see it, when, you could be, supporting your amendment rights, carrying weapon and stuff like that. But when you're more like, kind of be more of like an oppressive force,
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's kind of, it's like, well, shit,
Mm-hmm.
What else could these people be doing,
That's, I don't mind the freedom of assembly, freedom of that, but it is, I guess to show that we have the power. We the people have the power, which is nice, because we want the power, right?
Yeah.
But it's just concerning that, that it's going to have to come to something like this. And I just don't really want this to something big to go down. I really don't, because there's too many innocent bystanders there's too many. Yeah.
It's, it's just, and it just takes a couple people just lose their cool, and it's just, you have a fucking mess,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I haven't been, like I said, I sent you that picture of when with my family went down to Oregon.
Yeah.
And my boss told me, sent my picture. It was like, hey, dude, I'm enjoying my, my vacation.
That's good. I'm happy your surgery went well. You're doing fine. That's good to hear.
But he was telling me, like, why don't you make a stop at Portland? Like, oh, hell no, I ain't gonna stop at Portland. It's like
you
a shithole right
Portland. Get some pictures for us.
Hey, man, I've only got one good leg to try and make it run.
Come on, SA. No manches.
No, man.
All right. I'm going to let you go, Tino. I appreciate the feedback. Keep your eyes and ears open. Let us know what's going on there in Seattle, okay?
All right. De nada, amigo.
Okay, hasta la vista. Nos vemos, eh? Adios. So that's Tino there, who was just finished his surgery. He's been in and out of the chop zone and in Seattle, and there was a riot the other day or today there, and just this. I don't mind the people militarizing. I don't mind the people coming together and assembly. I don't mind. I don't care. It's fine. But it's just I just don't want. I just don't want it to come down to lethal violence. I don't want to see that. I mean, the pen, the reason why the pen is always going to be mightier than the sword is because the pen could sign peace agreements, but the pen also creates a lot of problems too, right, guys? You know, there's too many innocent people. That's the thing, right? All right, we got to call Buddy here. I'm getting messages here from visa.com news. Is this Liam? Let's call Buddy in Thailand. He needs to tell us something.
Hello?
Yo, what's up, dog?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. You sent me something. What is it?
I sent you a couple of things. Let me check the most recent. Oh, the most recent one was a video of everything shut down in Koh Samui in Thailand because there's no tourists. Literally every single shop is deserted. There's no tourists, no anything.
Well, you drove down the street for us when you were live with us. You drove down the street, right? And you showed us how everything was pretty much abandoned.
No. Before I showed you, you're talking about my live stream when I was live?
Remember when weren't you driving the other day?
Yeah, but that was when I was live, right? But
right.
Did I send you video before when it wasn't live?
No, you sent me the video when you were driving. You were live with us, and it looked like there was some traffic, but...
Yeah, so the one that I've just sent you is on somebody posted on Facebook.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so you shouldn't... It's in Koh Samui. I'm not in Koh Samui.
So what is happening with the dam flooding in China? Have you been following that?
Yeah, I sent you another video, which is a Chinese government kind of video, and they created a simulation video showing how a failure would affect the downstream cities.
Okay, you're going to have to resend me that because I have a million links from you. I'm trying to find dam destroyed in flood emergency, second flood wave. Is that one?
It's the one that says simulation video after the failure of the Three Gorges Dam on the Yangtze River. I will send it to you.
Send it to me again because I got a million things here, guys. This flooding in China is okay. There it is. I got it.
But turn the sound down. Turn the sound down.
Okay, let's open this. This is a YouTube, so we got to be careful. It's another YouTube. Oh, it's some Chinese thing.
Do not serve.
Yeah, it's a government Chinese, so you should be okay.
So so let's take a look at this. So guys, I'm going to open this up for you guys here. I hope I don't get flagged for. There it is there. So let's start it from the beginning right here. So here it is. Let's take off this. What is this? So there it is going down. So it's going down river here. Oh yeah. So that's a very populated area. What area are we looking at? Is this Wuhan here?
It's prior to Wuhan.
Prior to, okay, let's keep going down river here. Within 5 hours, the water level in Yincheng will reach 5 meters. 10 meters. Passes through Yincheng. It continues to advance along the river. So it's making its way downward. And it's pushing pretty hard. Wow, there goes another city. After flooding Yidu, the flood rushes out of the mountains and comes... the flood starts to spreading in the surrounding area and continues advancing in a fan. As the flood spreads, height will drop below 8 meters and the flow velocity, Yangtze River, is still less than 35 kilometers. So there it is. It's going to hit right here. After the submerges in Jingzhou, part of the flood that spreads. I didn't get that. It's too fast. But it's moving down. You see it moving down. That's a lot of water, dude.
Yeah, well, they say it starts off at 100 meters, pretty much 100-meter height tsunami. So it's pretty crazy.
The length of the river from the Three Gorges, Yingyang, is 350 kilometers, and the peak, the daunting lake next to the Yingyang, has a total capacity of 22 billion meter M3. If it's not a rainy period, it will play a bigger buffer role. Oh, wow.
So this simulation was actually created by the government a couple of years ago. And as you just mentioned, it's not taking account rainy season. And right now it's rainy season, but they've had crazy rain. So it could be 2 times worse than this, or even 3, 4 times worse.
Wow. So the length of the river from the Three Gorges to Wuhan is 700 kilometers. At the peak, reaches Wuhan 10 hours after the dam breaks. That's a long distance for it to flow, 10 hours, eh?
Yeah, well, it'll go all the way to the ocean as well. It'll continue, I think it's Shanghai, is it? The city next to the ocean.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you sharing that with us. That was a good, informative video there, for sure. And this is a very big deal. Let's see if we could get some news here. I'm not getting any news here in the West on this, eh?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't want to go into random woohoo kind of stuff, but we know that we can control weather, so you never know. This could be a warning to China for spreading the virus to the West, right?
Today's news right here. Live updates. China renews blue alert for rainstorms. China's National Observatory on Friday renewed a blue alert for rainstorms in several provinces and regions, continuing a period of downpours that have already wreaked havoc across the vast stretches of the country. So yeah, this the what? Wow. Okay, let me go into article scan. Let me go to article scan here. Here it is, guys. Wow.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And this is happening right now. This is not like a prediction or what if this or what if that. It's happening now. It's on the brink of collapsing because it can't hold any more water.
Mm-hmm.
And right now they're releasing all the water that intakes. So the gates are all open to release all the water because they can't hold any more.
And here it is here. Too bad they don't have a live cam showing this this dam.
Yeah, I've searched everywhere for live cams in China, but it's kind of like a North Korea. It's impossible.
Yeah. It's like an oversized North Korea. It's exactly what you got that right. Anything else you need to tell us, buddy?
Yeah, have you ever heard of a place called Svalbard?
No, tell me.
It's kind of like the North Pole, and if anyone wants to escape all the chaos in the Western world and the politics and the virus and everything, you can escape to a visa-free country called Svalbard. And it's pretty much anyone can live there, visa-free. You don't need any paperwork to show to the government. You just fly in, and no papers to show. Visa-free.
Okay, what's the country called?
SVAL.
No, say that again. SV?
Yeah, SVALBARD.
It's already coming up on my search. Svalbard. Okay, Svalbard is a Norwegian archipelago between the mainland of Norway and the North Pole, one of the world's northmost inhabited areas. It is known for its rugged, remote terrain, glaciers, and frozen tundra, sheltering polar bears, Svalbard reindeer, and Arctic foxes, and northern lights visible during the winter, and summer brings midnight sun. Sunlight 24 hours a day. Wow. It's got a population of 2,600.
Yeah, so on Wikipedia you can search. It says it's an entirely visa-free zone. Anyone may live and work in Svalbard indefinitely, regardless of country of citizenship. And if you look on YouTube, there's a lot of people that go there. You know, they've got internet, so they've got houses, electricity. You know, you can even have a gun. You can, because obviously you got polar bears, right? You need to protect yourself. Mm-hmm. So if anyone wants to escape the chaos, then you know where you can go.
Wow.
There's always an option, right?
But I mean, what's the cost of living there? Like, what would it cost to live in a place like that? Like,
well, yeah, that's what I've only just found this place yesterday, so I haven't done enough research yet. But according to Wikipedia, it says it has a high cost of living. So, yeah.
So if it
Because
doesn't, if you could just go live there and you know and just be, I guess, isolated from the rest of the planet, it's nice. But unfortunately, if it's going to cost a lot to live there, you're still in that zone of, you know, that zone we're in here, right? We're in the same zone here where affordability levels are out of control, right?
I think it's more. I think it's more along of getting away from all the people, the sheep. You're getting away from all that.
Okay, I see that. I
Yeah,
see that.
it's not much about cost. It's more about getting away from all the rubbish kind of thing, and living in isolation. And having a small group, like a few thousand people that you all think the same, right? There's a lot of people that like digital nomads that just go and live there because they can't deal with they don't feel like they fit in the normal Western society these days, and they just can't live in this world, right? So they just need to get away from it all. So they got fast internet, go live there, and you're free and independent. You can do what you want.
But the thing is, why can't we just do this in our own countries and not have property tax and have to pay all these other just have to pay as you go? We're living in a life in a way, the way of life we're living is as a pay as you go lifestyle. No matter what you do, where you go, even if you have no debt, you're still paying as you go. Okay, I understand we need to eat. I understand the basics, but it's getting harder to get the basics because we're just paying as you go too much.
Well, another thing good about Svalbard is it's no tax. There's no tax there, so you don't get taxed.
You don't get taxation. You don't get taxed.
Yeah, zero tax.
Interesting.
But yeah, I just found it yesterday, and I thought it was very interesting, and I thought I'd share it with everyone. If anyone wants to research it, if you live in Canada, maybe you live in the northern part of Canada, and you're used to the cold, and you live in a small town or something, then there's pretty much no different, right?
Oh, actually, it's pretty different because in Canada it does get cold, but we still have 4 seasons, right? This is really close to the Arctic. Where in Canada you still get like some places in Canada still get 4 months of summer, like of nice warm weather, right?
What about northern Canada? Like
even in Whitehorse, you still get a bit of a summer too.
Like the Yukon? What about Yukon?
Yeah, Yukon, you still get a bit of a summer. You don't have you have to go way north to the Arctic Circle to get those really cold. I know what you mean, but you got to go to the Arctic Circle where where you stop to see vegetation, where you stop to see foliage. Once you get really north and you start to see tundra and you start to see less and less green, then you're in that uninhabitable zones.
Yeah, because this Svalbard doesn't even have trees because you're so far north.
Yeah, you're so far up north that you get no foliage, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a really good little piece there you brought up here for us. Anything else? What's COVID looking like there? Is COVID doing okay, or did they get a cure for COVID in Thailand yet?
It's pretty much the same, 0 cases. Did you see the Conway West presidential rally? You know what?
I have it here. Hold on a sec. I have it here up on Conway West. Oh, Conway, or that's the singer, right?
Yeah. The Kardashian, isn't he a Kardashian?
I don't even know who that guy is. Let me go back here. I saw it on Press TV actually. On not Press TV. I saw it on RT.
He was crying and everything.
He was crying?
Yeah. He was crying, saying he could have killed his daughter and all these. He was off his head.
Really? Okay, here we go. I got it open here. Let's go to article scan. Here it is. 2020 Vision. Conway West says he can beat Joe Biden off of write-ins. And he says, fresh from airings his family dirty laundry on Twitter, rap enigma Kanye West has once again breathed life into his presidential bid, claiming that he could beat Joe Biden on write-in votes alone. Oh wow, that's a pretty big, bold statement to throw out there. Vegetable Joe is tough.
Yeah, who can beat him, right?
Mm-hmm. What did you send me?
I just sent you the video of Kanye crying, and I don't know if you can play it or not.
Oh, he's crying. Poor thing. He's crying. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
How's the situation
He was
in
very
Russia?
chaotic, his speech.
Oh my God, he was crying. Poor thing. All right, Liam. Thanks for the update, my brother.
All right, take it easy.
We'll keep in touch. Stay out of trouble, eh?
Yeah, and you take it easy. Bye.
Take care. Bye. All right. All right, we're rocking and rolling tonight. I haven't seen Supreme. I hope he's okay. You know, he's when he gets busy, and I'll call him through the week. I should have called him. I should have called him this week. I just got busy myself. I'm gonna give Supreme a call sometime, see if he's okay. But yeah, everyone looks like they're back on track here. Like here in Canada, everything looks like it's. I'm hearing planes fly over, so it's starting to sound like it's getting back to normal, right? So let me see if I could get. I want to see if who wants to come on. Does Layla want to come on, or does the Raven want to come on? I haven't heard. I think we talked to the Raven the other day during what was it? Trends in the housing market. He came on for a few seconds. Here he is. He's on right at the top of my list. Let me see what he's. Let's let him do a quick plug. Let's see the Raven do a quick plug. I need to know what the heck is going on with this.
The greatest president that God ever created, President Trump.
I think the Raven went to sleep.
You're not a nice person.
Yeah, the Raven's Skype is turned off. I hope he's okay. Because usually he's, I know he's on holidays. He's on holidays. All right, let's go over to the comments. The comments are flying here. We got over 200 people watching. Hey, there's the Raven. Yo, what's up, dog?
Yeah, I changed my Skype.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Uh,
have got me on that.
I wanted to ask you. Okay, so what? I don't know if you've been watching. I know you don't watch mainstream media and news, but there's
A little bit.
okay. But why is this guy crying here?
Kanye West?
Yeah, why is he crying for?
I don't know. I don't follow that. But you were saying, someone in the room made a comment earlier. I don't know what his name was. Cameron?
Okay.
He said that you can't get a PAL in Ontario anymore. Is that true? I never saw that. You can't apply for a PAL for a license for a gun in Ontario anymore. That's not good.
I have no idea.
I saw that comment earlier.
It wouldn't surprise me if they do that. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, and then you said it's getting back to normal in Canada.
Well, here where I am in my town, everything's just like tourism. People walk in the streets. Businesses, all the shops are open. I don't know.
You know what they're doing now? There's different subsections of their of this psychological whatever you want to call it, agenda or whatever. There's different subsections of the psychological agenda. They're off of what they've been doing. Now they're pushing the mask agenda. I went to work the other day just to go pick something up, and everybody's wearing a mask. They're doing safety blitzes in the yard to make sure people wearing masks. So this part of the psychological agenda is we're down to being muzzled. Once you put that mask on, you've sworn allegiance to their psychological game, and you are now one of their soldiers. And that's how it is, eh? Put the mask on. You submit. You're muzzled. So they're working that area of the agenda. Now they're just going to keep working us down, chiseling us down, working us down, get rid of the guns, get rid of, you can see how this is going to play out, Mike. With many different angles. So you said it's getting back to normal? I don't think so. I think they're just working different angles of their game now.
I'm in a town of 7,000 people, and we're in the middle of nowhere. Nobody really cares about us here. So.
We all know and saw COVID, you can get it from cash, right? So they, that's a coincidence. They want to go digital. Now there's a coin shortage. Oh, well, that's a coincidence.
My
How about
favorite
passport?
is, and I've been saying this for a long time. Get rid of the cash, go negative interest rates, so people could afford their houses, and
We
let the
blow up the
savers.
system.
Yeah.
We'll blow up the system with negative rates.
Yeah, and let the savers pay for it, because the people that have anything in any savings, the ones that didn't buy into this garbage, are the ones that are going to pay for it, whether through taxes or whether through their personal savings.
See, I think Europe, like, I don't know what percentage of there's 14 trillion in negative yielding bonds out there.
Oh yeah.
I think 35% of the world's in negative. But if we were to go negative, then there's no real safe place for you, because they are readjusting in Europe to invest in the States, because we haven't gone negative. So I don't know. I think that's a big question for a lot of people, is what happens. But a lot of those big money guys seem to feel that the whole system will blow up if we go negative.
Mm-hmm.
But them talking about cashless, we know that's their agenda. And by them saying that COVID is on cash, coin shortage, you damn well better know that they've got a plan out there. They've got a plan. Who has that plan? Do you think it's Jerome Powell's plan? Do you think it's Trump's plan? No, there's a plan. You can look at it. These guys got a plan, so they know. Are they going to let gold go over 1920?
No.
If they,
Raven,
if
we gotta
they could
rephrase
smash
that.
it,
Are they gonna
devalue the dollar,
no?
so it costs 1920.
No, actually, you said it right. I'm sorry. Let me take that back.
Are
They going to allow gold to go up? Because they have to allow things to happen nowadays, even though it's supposed to happen.
Gold doesn't change price. It's the dollar devaluing is why why it seems more. It takes more of the confetti. But their all-time high is, I think, $1,920. Are they going to let it cost that much? Are they going to let it run past that this week? Because if they do, they did it on purpose, and that means it benefits them for some reason. Or they could sell it down. But I think it was Anthony that said they're limiting the future contracts.
Yes.
So maybe they're tight. If they're limiting their future contracts, then that clips their ability to play with the numbers, right? How much fraudulent papers out there? How much? So, but if they, I don't know, they're running into a lot of trouble in the COMEX. So if they can't, I want to see, are they going to let it crack 1920? Because that's a psychological move right there. A rising gold price exposes a worthless currency. That currency is they've weaponized it. Mm-hmm. With their sanctions. Ask Layla. That whole area is being hurt by them weaponizing this, and with their sanctions and that American dollar is a weapon. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. Are we going to make it look weak by letting gold go high? It's the last currency where it's not an all-time high. It's kissing it, but it's not there yet. Are we going to let it go there? If they do, they did it on purpose. What's the reason? Why'd they do that? So what's coming up here? Why are they letting it get that close? That puzzles me. I kind of look at that and wonder, are they going to let it hit that all-time high? If they do, it'll probably happen this week. Mm-hmm. So
you're forecasting
anyway.
That, eh?
Well, last Sunday I said silver would go over 20. I think Anthony agreed with me.
Yeah,
there was too many longs.
Anthony's really good. I should get Anthony back on the show. He's got some time. JPM also covered a part of their short position on silver. That's what Anthony Ruvalakaba just said. JPM also covered part of their short position on silver.
Yeah, and Mitch was talking about that Bill Holter on USA Watchdog. It was a good interview. Everybody should watch that on USA Watchdog. Bill Holter. All roads lead to gold. He's right. Everything leads to gold. It's a very informative show. It was good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are you predicting? What's going to happen next week, Raven? Because every week
that's a short time.
We can't even plan a week ahead because it's so chaotic. This is the most chaotic year I think I've ever been in my life.
I think that gold is going to clip 1920. I think they're going to let it happen, but I don't know why they would do that. See how many news articles came out? I'm watching the USA debt clock when it clicks over to certain milestone numbers, because I watch it and I wait. Like I can tell you right now that silver is right about at $4,000. It's probably about $35 away from being $4,000 on the debt clock. Mm-hmm. There's milestone numbers, but I would say gold's going to go over 1920 this week. Why they're going to let it do that, I don't know. Or maybe they're going to hammer it. It's very puzzling. Tomorrow night, the Asian markets, you'll see. Sometimes they run it up. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen this week.
I
with that
watch
gold.
the Asian markets every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
I'm watching the Asian markets, buddy.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I can't wait. I think it's like 5 or 6 o'clock.
That's how I predicted that oil was going to go into negative territory. That from that Sunday, I saw that. I actually made a video that night, not the next day after it went negative. I actually made a video before it went negative.
I watch the Asian markets every night during the week. They ran that silver up there a few times, just going, eh? Mm-hmm. I was making $60 a penny on that silver going up. It was good.
Yeah.
So
and plus you have physical, right? I've stacked. I've been stacking for a couple of years too myself, right? So
yeah,
I bought an ounce of gold last week. Everyone in this channel watching is stacking somewhere, somehow, some sort of currency somewhere, some sort of physical metal somewhere.
Yeah, I was buying ounces of gold at $1,400, and I bought one last week at $2,560. Was the most I ever paid.
Wow.
Yeah, and I bought 5 ounces of silver, used silver, and I got for $31 an ounce, and that's cheap. Cheap. It's still very cheap. Look at, they haven't done their next stimulus bill. What's it going to be? 1, 2, 3 trillion? I've heard all those numbers. You know?
Oh, if we raise the debt level, you're not really raising the debt level, right?
Okay, so yes, exactly. So, well, yeah. So cash transmits COVID. We have a coin shortage. These are not coincidences. That's their lame excuse, okay? That's right. They're letting gold go up to 1920, up that area. Metals are taking off. Big stimulus package coming. Start mixing all, reading what's going on here. What are these crooked criminals got cooking?
Crooked criminals.
Well, it's what they are.
That's why, Raven, you need to be one step ahead of the muff, just to make sure it didn't, like, just studying a little bit back in like 2012, you realize back then, oh man, I got to get metal. This is not going to end well. It's a someday investment, eh? Someday it'll do well, So I don't mind the slow, but profitable in the end. Mm-hmm. And it's a great place to have if you have extra wealth to put away, it's a great place to have it. I wanted to buy Ethereum. I was looking at it. I have my wallet, my hard wallet, and a ledger. And I was putting too much cash into other stuff. I just couldn't do the cryptos. Mm-hmm. But like I said, those cryptos are going to be wiped right off the planet when these guys get their central bank currencies up and running. And they're doing it. Mm-hmm. They want cash gone. So this collapse will coincide with the digital. When they roll out their digital, that will be the whole time frame of the collapse. Mm-hmm. These guys have got a plan. I don't know what they're going to value their new currency at or how. Maybe a 20% gold backing or maybe a silver backing, or there'll be something creative they'll do with it. And maybe I said this a year ago on your show. Maybe this digital currency will have a time-sensitive interest rate on it, so you can't just hold it. You've got to keep it flowing. Your money velocity, digital, right? So they want to keep it rolling. And I'm always looking at. They don't want people to create, or not create, but build wealth, right? And wealth building nowadays is unheard of because everybody is so used to being in debt and spending more than what they make, and that's the scary part of this whole thing.
Yeah. People thinking that this is going to be over in 2-3 years, they got another thing coming. Mm-hmm. Like, you were buying that airline stock thinking that this was going to be better in 2-3 years. What was your reasoning for that?
I don't know. My airline stock is, I only have one that's in negative. Everything else is like, okay, like pretty. I bought Air Canada like $14, right?
You know what? You gotta look at all angles. I look a lot now. Now I'm really starting to read up and look at global warming. I know a lot of people say it's not real. Whatever. I look at it and I believe that they believe it's real. That's all I know. And we took 2.5 billion tons of carbon out of the atmosphere when we grounded those planes. Mm-hmm. We're trapping gas in this planet and it's heating up and we're getting stuff all around the world. The Arctic, they're mapping new islands because the snow's melting. Mm-hmm. These guys believe, and they're putting out a lot of information. And who knows? Who knows? I think that's a big piece of the pie about what they're doing. And I watched Ted Turner on an interview that he did like 12 years ago, where he said, trapping gas, we're killing the planet. Either you want to go on or you got to reduce the population. Too many people using too many things. You got to get rid of people. I think most people realize what this is all about. It's it's like someone said on the internet, it's turning into an IQ test. How long does it take for you to realize? How long would people take? They'll be dieharders. Those people who drive in the car wearing a mask by themselves. Those people, they're going to go right to the grave thinking that this was just all by accident.
No, I've been glancing on my most of my airline stock that I bought. I bought it when it was pretty low, so like a lot of it is still in the fresh green. I did sell off a bit of profit the other day to pick up. I've been investing in this drone delivery service technology thing. Not a lot, but some. Then I invested a bit more in a couple of different oil companies because I have a feeling that things are going to heat up in the Middle East, and I always hedge on oil because we're always on the brink of war. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I did buy a lot of oil when it was really low, Raven. So everything, when you look at my thing, it's like it's all green except one or two airlines, but everything is like pretty much in the green right now. So I'm in the green room. I'm not too worried about anything because I did well. I bought everything 3-4 weeks ago when everything was really at the bottom.
What did Bezos make on Monday? 13 billion?
Like, seeing things go down and saying, okay, time to sell it all off, and then maybe wait till things drop again and then rebuy and jump back on the bandwagon, right?
Yeah, no, these guys are they've got a thermometer for dialing in this entire world economy. They can do whatever they want with COVID. COVID gives them the answer to everything, eh? It's whatever you want. You want to start shutting down this portion of the industries, this portion. You want to shut down trade, close borders, do it. Anything you want, you get from COVID. It's pretty genius, actually, what they did.
Did you hear our first caller?
Yes.
So she flew in from London, and she's in New Zealand, and she's got to go into quarantine by the government in a hotel.
Yeah, she's in the motel. She knows what's going on. I was listening to her. She knows. Yeah. She's awake. Yeah, very much awake. She knows what's going on. She's not going to pull the wool over her eyes. I heard that call.
Yeah. Everyone, like I said, this little umbrella group here. We got a little umbrella group. We got people, we're all hanging out here, having a good time, talking. People call in, give us a little feedback on what's going on in their area. And once you start putting the pieces together and you hear it on the ground in New Zealand and you hear it on the ground in Southeast Asia, which we did, you hear it in Oregon, you hear it in Seattle, you start putting the pieces together and you start getting a big picture on things here on this show. Believe it or not.
You go on YouTube, you can look all around the world. You can go to the Philippines and see kids diving in caves in the water with a tube hooked in his mouth, breathing through a compressor, 30 feet down in a hole in the ground looking for gold. You can go to Burkina Faso in Africa and see a kid get lowered 100 meters into a hole in the ground with a rope to chisel rock into a bag to lift them back out. These guys are trying to make $2-3 a day, risk their life, and lots of them die. And these kids in another place in the Philippines, they're selling their kidneys, for $500. Like the hardships that are out there, Mike, if you're not in the West, it's unbelievable. And that's where the majority of people are. So we're so lucky to be living in Canada, the U.S., and I don't care what people say about the protests and that. You're lucky in that part of the world. And even in Europe, most of Europe, you're very lucky to be living there.
Yeah,
there's
and
a
I tell a lot of
hardship
people, like,
out there.
This roundup of the people rounding up and protesting, a lot of people need to get the taste of what real life reality is about. Walking 2 miles to get water, 10 miles to get water.
Yeah, we'll never experience. Well, you never say never. Those days are probably coming. I think hardship's coming. We're gonna have to learn to live without.
Yeah, that's why I've been planting my garden, teaching my kids how to plant that garden, giving them an understanding and importance of making their own food. You know, I'm teaching my kids martial arts, teaching them how to stand up and fight. I'm trying to pass on what I know to my children to make sure that they are ready for this world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, nice garden.
Yeah. Anything else, Raven?
I don't know. I'm very worried. I wonder what gold's going to do. I want to see. There's people in the room. They must be wondering: are they going to let gold break that all-time high? It's the last currency that hasn't done it.
Would they allow it?
If they let it go up $20 more, because it's 5 cents away from 1900 right now.
Right.
If they let it go up another $20, the psychological ramifications of that for the Fed are it's huge. Everybody's going to start to think, well, that's where the value is. It's just a psychological move. It's going to be huge. I think that's when it takes off.
Mm-hmm.
It breaks that number, then it takes a run to $2,000 right away.
Too large.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not going to stop there. It's going to keep going and going and going. $3,000, $3,000 Canadian before the end of this year.
Yeah, that's
Canadian.
A lot of cake.
Another $400.
That's a lot of cake, and well, I could see that happening easily with the amount of money that Canada's, like, I guess, how do you say, misappropriation of money is phenomenal in this country.
Yeah, pretty much everything is a misallocation, like university, misallocation of time.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like going to college and getting a degree in arts.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. I work with I work with 7 guys that are all veterinarians, and they're driving trains. They're all from the Philippines. Yeah, they're all from the Philippines. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You know.
Okay.
It's not recognized too. Okay.
Well, thanks for the updates, and we'll have you on soon enough. And keep your eyes and ears open. Just let us know, when you know something or you feel something, and we'll talk.
Hey,
soon.
read my comment on that meme you put on about the 80s.
Okay,
that was a
I
good
could
comment.
do that. Hold on, let me grab that real quick here. Hold on, stay on the thing with me here. Hold on, let me just grab that real quick here. So I put up a thing here on the channel that the Raven responded to. Here it is. Here. Okay, let's under.
That's a true story.
Okay, here it is. Let's go to article scan. Let's go to community, comunidad. It's down. Ooh, live. Okay, let's go down. I like this one. Please pay for your parking before existing. That's in a parking lot in Vancouver. Oh, where is that? Here we go. Anyone, so this is what I put up here. I put this up, and then the Raven responded to it. Let me read this to you guys so you know what we're talking about. Anyone who was born in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, or the 80s, we are the last generation who played in the streets. We are the first who played video games, the last to record songs off the radio on a cassette tape. We walked over a mile with no worries on being taken. We learned how to program the VCR before anyone else. We played from Atari to Nintendo. We are the generation of Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes, Captain Kangaroo. We traveled in cars without seatbelts or airbags, lived without cell phones. We did not have flat screens, surround sound, iPods, Facebook, Twitter, computers, or the internet. But nevertheless, we had a great time. Love and repost if you are a 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s baby. And then the Raven wrote here. Is that your motorcycle?
No, I'm outside. It's just guy went by.
Okay, so he said, I remember when the neighborhood parents all got together and tried to stop the local bowling alley from getting pinball machines and tabletop video games. Wow. Those parents are now in their mid-80s, confined to their cells. CNN prison guards bark orders at them every night at 10 p.m., and no time off for good behavior. The threat in the earlier years was not at the bowling alley, it was in your living room. And every time you turned it on, it whispered in your ear, "Psst, buy me, vote for me, go here, travel there, think this." Jump ahead 40 years and whisper is far from pronounced. Best economy ever. Best economy ever. Horrible, horrible virus. Social distance, 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart. Where, war, fear, fear, war, fear, war, fear. As a society, we were once capable of standing our ground against tyranny. This earthquake of deception has caused us to lose balance and ability to mentally stabilize our thoughts. Our family and friends have fallen victim to an invisible enemy, an enemy so powerful that it can recruit with a whisper. Welcome to the new normal.
That was a good one. That's true. That's true. Those parents back in the 70s, 80s, they stood up against people wanting to put video games in our neighborhood. People can't stand up anymore. People can't stand up. They're all scared.
Well, they can't criticize. They can't say anything.
There's just no, I don't know. There's no will.
Well, here, listen to this. Oh, we're going to start enrolling this program in schools, and we're going to start a whole new, what is it, a gender course at Harvard to teach you about, like, why, like, back in the 70s and 80s, people would stand up to this and say, like, guys, seriously, what are you wasting our tax money? You know, what are you trying to feed us, right? Nowadays, everything just gets rolled in. Like, you know, like you're moving into a new house and you're rolling in all your furniture in. Everything is just coming kind of adding into our lives like that. And we're getting used to the couch being there. And we're getting used to the fridge being there. You know what I'm saying, Raven?
Yeah. I just don't think there's no more will for anybody to stand up. They're just I don't know. They're so programmed. You know, you can't think outside the narrative. It's their track. Think their way. That's it. You can't think outside. There's no. It's like a bunch of zombies now. I don't know.
I think a lot of people are afraid to think outside. That's the problem.
Yeah, because then people will point at you. Hey, why are you saying that? You're strange, you know, or you're whatever.
Racist.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I don't mind being called a racist. I actually. I would be offended if somebody called me a toaster.
Yeah.
The word lost all meaning. That word means nothing anymore. So they've used that word to a point where it's like, oh, okay, so what now? You know?
You know, my neighbor across the back lane here is from the Congo. He's Congolese. He's one of my best friends, man. Mm-hmm. You know that Black Lives Matters? It makes an uncomfortable air now. Like I didn't even know what white privilege was. I really never heard that before. I didn't really even know it existed. I've always worked with people from other parts of the world at the railway, but that's just, we hire everybody. Mm-hmm. So they were just always my friends. And now it makes everything like odd and weird. Mm-hmm. Uncomfortable.
Do you think it's working? Do you think that's what they want?
No, it caused me like it was nice. I felt at ease before. Now just like it's so much like they're, you know, there was a famous actor on TV. Was it Morgan Freeman? I think he said, you know what? Stop talking about it. You want to get over it? Stop bringing it up, putting it in everyone's face.
Yeah.
Just stop talking about it. Just be human beings, you know? I think it would just, I don't know. I think it would just work its way out of the system. Mm-hmm. We're taught that. Teach something new, you know, and some people have to stand up and be the role models there. Right. Mm-hmm. right across from me, I'm looking across the back lane. That guy is a priest from Brazil. Beside him is a guy from the Congo. There's two duplexes brand new beside me. I showed you them. Japan, a doctor from Syria. I was telling him, I know a girl from Syria, a doctor from Syria. And then there's China, Japan, and Dubai. Okay. I'm trying to learn how to say hello and goodbye in every language on the corner of this street. Like Congo, that's Swahili. Jambo, that's hello.
Mm-hmm. Jambo, Jambo.
Yeah, Kwahati, that's goodbye, right? It shows respect. When I talk to these people, I like to show them that I'm very respectful of and it shows that I take the time, it's a respect thing, right?
Tell the guy from Brazil,
We don't
bom
have to
dia.
we don't have, yeah, you don't have to all run around and pick at people because if we can't get past that, we're never going to, this planet's never going to make it, man.
Nope.
So some people, I just think people have to start to step up and maybe try something different.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing is not working.
Oh, obviously. Well, I mean, again, this election year has been one of the worst election years in history that I could ever. It's like there's something happening, Raven, in the whole electoral system.
The whole thing's a joke.
Yeah,
it's just it's a bad B-rate movie, with one good actor, Trump. Very good actor.
He's not a B. He's got experience from the TV show.
Part of the reason I'm here is that I know how to take a joke.
Apprentice.
Yeah. I was just doing a little sound clip there from Donald Trump. There while you.
Yeah. That's exactly why he's on Apprentice. Mm-hmm. Exactly. But don't ever think that guy's there to help MAGA. Don't think that he's there. He's sworn allegiance to the Rothschilds. Mm-hmm. So his handlers are telling him what to do. He fights the mask. He fights the mask because there's a whole group of Americans who fight the mask. They feel at one with Donald Trump when he does that. Mm-hmm. But when he walks into a VA hospital and puts a mask on and then says, I believe in certain situations you should wear a mask, that's his handlers telling him to do that because it's the chess piece they move that day on the psychological perception of the people in the country. So this is a big chessboard game these guys are playing. Trump is Hillary Clinton. He is all those people. He's deep state. These people are taking us over the finish line. Don't think there's any differences in that. Don't think anybody's fighting for your rights.
Right.
They're fighting to take them away. But anyway.
Okay, Raven. I'm gonna let you go. Catch your breath there. We'll talk soon. And we'll talk soon, buddy. I promise. We'll talk maybe sometime during the week. We'll talk about things like we usually talk about.
Okay.
God bless you. Take care, okay?
Yeah, bye.
All right. Guys, that is the Raven coming out of Manitoba. Lots of information coming in tonight from all over the world. We had a caller in from New Zealand. We had a caller in from Southeast Asia. We had a caller in from Seattle. One from Oregon. We had a caller in from Canada. Man, what country are we missing? We're missing Australia. Who could we call in Australia? Let's call somebody from all over the Commonwealth. Woo! Tino's saying, let's go to the comments here. Tino's saying Trump needs to win an Oscar. Someone's telling me to make a Raven soundboard.
We can't do anything right. Our military has to be strengthened. Our vets have to be taken care of. We have to end Obamacare, and we have to make our country great again, and I will do that. Then there's something wrong with you. You're certainly not very good.
Yep. From the great leader of America. All right, let's see who we got here. What do we got in Australia? Okay, Luke Alexander. Let's get him on the phone. Yeah, we had him on the show before.
Mike.
Luke Alejandro, how you doing, my brother?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Okay, what's going on? Are there protests? Do you know anything? What can you tell us?
Oh, it's been a bit of a strange week in Australia. Because I don't know, you would have heard about Victoria being in lockdown and all that.
That's correct. Yes.
I'm up in Queensland, so it's no different up here. I don't see any change so much in the way, I guess, people have been just trying to get by, trying to just keep busy. So
the money support system thingy there, the payment plan thingy for staying home is going to dry up soon. What's going to happen there?
I think you're going to have a lot of people suddenly realizing they got to work, and unfortunately there hasn't been a, an effort by, say, the government or non-government groups to get a whole bunch of people out working and making stuff and doing things, because, you know, that's what we need to do, you know.
Well, producing and exporting. What are you noticing? What patterns? Are you noticing anything strange going on? Like out of the ordinary that's been different? You said it was a different week this week.
Yeah, there was a young woman did in Victoria got on the national television because she used ways to stop any questioning while she was at the checkpoint, using sort of methods, and so the media just made fun of her, like she's a conspiracy theorist and all this stuff, because it's understandable, like people are worried, but I mean, we haven't had many deaths in the last, really, we've had 100 and something deaths in this whole time,
so basically more people died falling down the stairs than they died of COVID in Australia.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
it'll be years before the suicide statistics make it out or any of that stuff, because it's too much, you know?
Well, usually the next administration makes the difference, that comes out and says, see, these guys you voted in last time, look what they did and look what happened and look what these numbers, you know, that's usually the next administration comes in and makes a difference.
That's exactly it. But I think there's a lot of people who are aware of the seriousness of what's going on, that even though there's this virus that they're being told to be so scared of, you know, that there's also this sort of proxy World War III going on in the background, you know.
Well, this proxy World War III, or this World War III that's going on, it's an economic takeover. It's a financial takeover. It's a capitalistic takeover. It's a corporate takeover. It's everything, and it's all affecting the middle to working poor class.
Yeah. I guess I'm in the working poor class, and I know people who are also in that middle class, and a lot of people lost a lot of money, but I think we're the ones who aren't going to be vindictive. We're the ones who are going to actually want to get active and be positive towards helping make the future, because there's no point in, I mean, this sort of thing is always the method. Like, for all I've known my whole life is that there's a force that is there taking everything it can, and you know, it's almost impossible for the individual to make their way in the world. You know, if you want to be a small businessman or woman, you got to work very hard just to survive. You know.
But Luke, the main question I have, and this is one that's been calling at me for a while, is are they going to allow things to come back to normal? Would they allow it?
I don't think that's part of, for instance, a technocratic plan or you look at the Brave New World type scenario, there's no way they're going to want any of that, because they have to remove all of that previous history in order to make people not know. Because if they knew, they would ask questions, you know.
Right. Do you think?
I think they're going to be very strong and they are being very strong on all fronts. You know, social issues, a lot of hypocrisy and contradiction, because they're pushing. You know, sorry to cut in there.
So let me ask you: do you think? Are you currently working now?
Yeah, I'm working. I'm not getting much work, but enough to survive. You know, and I'm pretty positive towards, you know, the next 6 months, few years, really, as far as I know I'll be able to survive, but I'm worried for a lot of people who won't be in that position, you know. and the money will run out from the government because they'll be broke. Eventually they won't be able to.
Let me ask you something, Luke. Have you noticed, I don't know about you, but I've noticed a lot of my friends, the highly educated friends that I had growing up, or the ones that did really well at school, I'm noticing they're suffering more than the blue collar workers or the tradesmen. Like I was a tradesman for myself, like working in trades. Are you noticing that, or am I severely delusionalized? Are you noticing that there?
No, I think it depends on what sector you work in.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're in a sector that there's no sort of worry about what's coming up next, then they might still be worried, but they're not. They haven't had, the full hit from everything. Whereas there's those people, it's almost like their world's been broken because, they've had this idea, and then they've got a little bit out of the cave, and they can see back into where they were and realize that they were actually deluding themselves in order to maintain their view of the world. Mm-hmm. They weren't able to be more open-minded, and now they were forced to be a little bit more. It's hurting them because I guess they can't go back into the past and change anything.
You know what it is nowadays we don't live in a time where people own up to a mistake. Hey, we screwed up on this one. Hey, we made a mistake. We're sorry about that. They don't do that anymore. Governments don't do that anymore. So what they do is they have to work around this lie and then work around another lie and then build something up on the side. And they're just going to have to keep going forward with this. They can't step back and say, hey, guys, listen, I'm sorry. We made a mistake. And we're sorry about this, right? So we had callers saying, oh, they built these big hospitals to take in thousands of people. They converted hundreds of stadiums over to makeshift hospitals, and none of it got used.
Yep. And they didn't say, oh, look, they can easily say, look, we had to do this, and it's great that we didn't need it, but, it is a mistake, but it's a mistake we had to make because of the situation. So at least acknowledging that is at least starting a start. Like you touched on a really important point there, Mike, is that, acknowledging, your own faults, as in anyone's own faults, is a way that collectively we can, it should be one of the core things, mm-hmm. And it's easy to accept and move on. If you have a grievance, you should be able to air it, and you should be able to come to a resolution based on, a fairness, a certain amount of fairness, and that doesn't exist in the world currently.
Right.
But it exists in small amounts. But moving into the future, all the seafaring nations that worked together throughout history had really done a lot of hard work to do that. Mm-hmm. And we should acknowledge the good parts of that and how much effort people would make to produce things, put them on a ship and send them across the ocean.
Yep. The Portuguese were good at that.
Exactly. And so they had their time taken away from them. And you can't really even talk about that because there was other things that went on at that time, the Inquisition. So that becomes a thing where don't talk about that.
Slavery.
Don't talk about the Moorish civilization, Egypt. Every country, every continent's got so much rich stories that we should be able to talk about. But because through war and conquest, things are like, well, you can't really bring that up anymore. But it's like, even if it shouldn't, time's past, we're all brothers and sisters. We should be able to talk about these things,
Exactly. We're, like I keep saying all the time, we're all born from woman and we're all humans and we all bleed red. But what do you think of the digital erasing or the digital book burning that we're going through now, where they're purposely going out and removing history or rewriting history right under our noses, and nobody's taking a stand on it?
No, it's really quite intense because it's happening on multiple fronts, you know. So at the moment you have words and the meaning of words being not just changed a bit, like being inverted almost. And then all of these, once you remove the core things that you can talk about because you understand the meaning of it, then that's not just the stripping of free speech, it's just the stripping of any communication at all, because in that world where everything's changing, the only way that it can work is to go back to simple things, truths that you can
principles,
share.
Very basic principles.
Yeah.
Right. You always you could strip it down the layers, and you always get back to the basic principles, truth. Somebody asked me the other day. I used to be a transmission rebuilder. That was my trade. I used to rebuild automatic transmissions.
Yeah.
And someone said to me, Mike, how do you know how to rebuild all the Hondas, the Fords? How do you know so many parts? How do you know how to fix these things? Well, when you strip it down to the basics, it always goes. Every transmission works on the same basic principles. Once you know the basic principles, you could grow off that, and you could understand a broader aspect of everything else, right?
Yeah.
And we're not going back to basics anymore. Same thing like the gasoline 4-stroke engine. They all work on the same principles, every single one of them. But people look at the engine and say, "Well, that looks complicated." No, it's not. If you get back to the truth, or get back to the heart of things, you'll see it. Everything works on the same basic principles, and we're not going back to truth, or we're not allowing, or they're not allowing us to go back to basics, and that's scary.
Yeah, that is scary, because if you don't have that, what's the point of teaching? What's the point of learning? What's the point of anything, really, you know?
Right.
Even entertainment, like TV shows and music and movies, lose their impact if they're based on too many fallacies or too many Hippocratic instances, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you, buddy. I feel you. All right, Luke.
But, yeah.
Any last words?
Last one, mate, you know, and that I just think the future is a good place, you know, and it's going to be a lot of hard work, but I think people are going to get there, you know. That's my outlook on the world. I'm pretty optimistic. It's not going to be an easy way getting there, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it's good. I like that you're positive, and everyone should be positive going forward. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward, you know, like I'm building a website for my business. I'm doing other stuff. I'm getting into, you know, dabbling in different things, trying to make sense of things. You know what I'm saying? And moving forward and being positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Growing, you're finding new things that can help enrich and keep you moving. That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the chat, Mike.
All right, Luke. We'll talk soon, okay? You stay out of trouble.
Yeah, mate. I will. Cheers.
All right,
you
God
too,
bless
mate.
you.
You too, mate.
Bye.
See you, bye.
That is Luke Alexander Johnson in Australia, giving us a little bit of whatchamacallit. Let's get Craig on the phone real quick here. He wants to add something to the show.
You're not a nice person.
Hi, how are
Craig,
you?
Craig, what's up, buddy?
Great show, love the show. Hey, good caller, Steel. I was just listening to your last caller there, and you were talking about book burning, and there was something what our great leader has done here recently in the lockdown under the radar, which I thought would be interesting for the show.
Go ahead. This is New Zealand, by the way, folks. New Zealand. Go ahead.
Yeah, what they've done is they've changed the abortion laws.
Whoa. They changed what?
The abortion laws used to be that if you wanted to get an abortion, you had to do it within the first 3 months, I think, 2 or 3 months of the pregnancy.
Don't tell me up until birth.
Yes, sir. And with no excuse. We don't need a doctor to sign it off. And the other one is for disabled people. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I was listening to your, your last caller there. Like I said, it reminds me a lot about what was happening in the 30s, because I'm always been a bit of a student of history. So they changed the language, burned the books, and devalue life.
So
yeah, that out on the Facebook. I saw it on the Facebook a couple of weeks ago.
okay, so where do you see things going from here? Like, I mean, we got our first caller was from New Zealand, and everything looks like it's open, and everything looks like it's open for business. Are you seeing things like kind of? Are you seeing planes flying over again? Is everything looking like it's back to normal?
Yeah, it would seem that way, but when you see people, it's changed. It's a bit like that movie, The Matrix. You know there's something wrong, and you can feel it, and you can taste it. But from that movie, but things have definitely slowed down a lot. You don't see as much traffic on the road. You don't see as much activity. You are seeing more shops closed. So yeah, we're in their election year. So, and it's quite hard to believe them. In the election year, of course, they're going to roll out all the we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Yeah, like you did the last 10 times.
We got IDK777 from New Zealand saying, Mike, they are pushing euthanasia in New Zealand. I told you guys, in the future, we have euthanasian centers open for you.
Yeah, well, that's the obvious, they're following the script, but it's all under the radar. Like I said, we do interesting, and I think I've told you this before, Mike, just like everyone else, the subsidies or government money is due to run out about the elections. So that's pretty obvious, unless you're I think a blind man could see that one.
You know what, Craig, we're gonna have a panel. We're gonna, during the maybe we'll see if we could get a New Zealand during the elections in New Zealand, and when they have a debate, maybe we could see what time it is here in Canada, and we'll have you on a panel. We'll probably have the first caller and everybody else in New Zealand on the panel, and we'll just all take our turns talking and watching the so basically you'll be watching on your end the live debate. I'll be watching it on my end. Everybody will be watching it on their end, and we'll be discussing it as it goes along.
Oh, fantastic. Good idea. But
yeah,
no,
and see if they bring up homelessness, fentanyl crisis, Chinese investors, all this kind of crap. And see if they actually bring in the money laundering discussion there, because I know they laundered a lot of money through New Zealand too, just like Australia and Canada. And are they going to bring this up?
No, in fact, I've spoken to homeless people in Auckland City. Well, I'm still off work at the moment, but, I was in town about a month after the lockdown, and I saw a couple of homeless people, and I said, "Oh, did you guys get locked up for the homeless? For the coronavirus?" "Oh no, they left us alone."
Of course they left them alone. Of course.
And we've had something else quite interesting, which has been going on the news. We've, like Lisa there, first caller, a lot of people come back from overseas, they put them in quarantine. We've had about 3 or 4 cases in the media where they said, they put this person in the hotel and they broke out and jumped the fence to go and get their beer at the supermarket.
Yeah, I heard about that, actually. Yeah.
It's like, it's really deadly, but no, he got his beer. No, leave him go back. No one saw anything. Nothing to see here.
All right, Craig.
No, but I just wanted to add those couple
no
other
problem,
points.
Brother. No problem. Let's get a panel together this November so we could cover the New Zealand election. I'll get a panel together here for the American election, and we'll be covering that too on the show. And I'll probably get Tino in Seattle, probably get Lord Humongous in Colorado, and we'll get people in other parts of America to be on the live when there's a live debate. We'll do it here. We'll do that too, the American one too.
Oh, great. Look forward to it. So,
All right, Craig.
yeah, I'll keep watching. Thanks for the call, Mike.
Please stay strong, okay? God bless you.
I'm back at work a couple of weeks, so
Good for you.
we'll be right.
Heal that hand
Okay.
up. Heal that hand up.
Yeah, I will. Thanks, Mike.
God
Bye.
bless. Bye. That is my man Craig. And let's we got time. We got 11 minutes. Someone's getting coffee. Someone's messaging me. Who's messaging me here? I want to talk to Thing. I don't. Layla, can you turn on your Viper or your what the heck you call it? Your coding thing? Because I know you're in Syria and you don't want them. What the heck you call it? Let me see if I could, if she's probably right, Alan. It's not the colloidal people that are looking for. Okay, let's see if she could pick up the phone here. VPN, yeah. Layla is not online. Am I even on the right one? I got like 4 Laylas here. You got to keep burning your accounts and always starting over. It's really important, guys, to burn your accounts and to make sure that you can't be tracked, right? Especially if you're in the Middle East, right? And you're divulging information, right? Who else is... I got a lot of people here in the comments here. VPN, yes, guys. VPN. I got it, guys. I got it. There we go. There's Layla. Yo, what's up, Layla?
Hey, Mike, did you just try to call me?
Yeah, I tried calling. It said the number you are reaching is no longer in service. Please call again. All right, so what's going down, Layla?
Yeah, it's a VPN, and it's funny you called it a Viper, because actually the VPN that I have is the Viper VPN. It's called Viper VPN, interestingly enough.
Yeah. I just threw that out there because that's usually the one that a lot of people use.
Yeah, it's good. They have lots of servers.
Okay, tell us what's going down. What I covered. Let me go over some of the news here in the Middle East that I covered already today. Maybe you could fill us in on what's going on. So let's go back to Press TV here. So what's going on? Do you know anything about these warplanes that are harassing Iranian airliners?
Yeah, I heard about that one. Yeah, I missed your first hour of the show, but yeah, I heard about that one. So it was a commercial airplane, but apparently the U.S. Folks thought it was a military or something else, but they still harassed it, but then they let it go. There was no confrontation or anything like that. But there are tensions in the region. They're screwing around a little bit. So apparently the U.S. delivered nuclear warheads to Israel. And we got hit again a few times, somewhere nearby where I live and also in Damascus. But these were all, apparently they were all blocked by the Syrian army.
Blocked so as in, what do you mean by blocked? Like it just get intercepted in the sky?
I don't know what you call. Yes, they were intercepted. Yeah, I'm not sure how they say it in English, but locally they have a common terms for it because they do this all the time and they're constantly intercepting them all the time.
Wow. I know that you got hit was it 2 weeks ago? You got hit 40 clicks from your house?
Yeah, it was a little bit more than that. It was 3.5 weeks ago now. That was damn loud. Like I heard it and I don't know how more people didn't wake up to it. That was nearby. That was close to where they burnt the wheat fields and the wheat harvest not too long ago in preparation for the sanctions. So, yeah, what I mean was, Israel, they burned the wheat because the sanctions are basically getting people to starve, right? So when wars don't work and the economic wars don't work, then they turn to something like the Caesar Act. You know what I mean, Mike? Mm-hmm. So getting people to starve is an issue.
Layla, it's kind of interesting you bring that up because in Portugal, a lot of people starved during sanctions because Portugal was heavily sanctioned. I think it was by the Carter and before the Carter administration. It was Jimmy Carter administration. Portugal was very heavily sanctioned because they refused to get off the gold standard and refused to surrender their colonies in Africa, which did not want to separate from Portugal because they knew what was going to happen if Portugal did leave, right? And yeah, it's a lot of people starved to death in Portugal because of the sanctions. And Portugal was neutral during World War I and World War II. You think with the colonies they had, they'd be prosperous. No, they weren't. They were led to starve to death because they wanted them off the damn gold standard that they were on.
Yeah, and I mean it's the same stuff all over again, right? It's how Lord Humongous puts it, right? All wars are bankers' wars.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not saying that I'm not saying they're gonna succeed. Like they've been at this for 10 years, and Israel has been around for a long time now. Still very small, you know, like if you look at the Greater Israel Plan, it's a much larger region than where they are right now. So I really don't think this is going to work. You know, Israel is a failed project on every level, inside and out. I mean, it's a mess inside, and right now there's so many protests in Israel against Netanyahu.
There is. Outside the hotel he's staying in, there's at least 30,000 people there.
Israel. Oh yeah, there's plenty. I mean, I understand everyone is sick of him by now, and he's not. You know, he's so stubborn. But I mean, it doesn't matter. We don't care who's a leader in Israel. You know, to us, it's just Israel. It's the same. It's a bit like the U.S. president. You know, there's an agenda, and any president who comes in, I would say even anywhere, you know, they have to fit into the agenda. They're not even fit to run if they're not, you know, handled by someone or sponsored by someone who's in that elite group. So same thing with Israel, you know. But I think with them, it's really the corruption trials. And I don't think he's doing too well on other fronts. I'm not sure what they are. He keeps saying that he wants to annex some parts of the West Bank. I think that, I mean, is that going to be a big deal? No, because all of Israel is illegal anyway. So it doesn't matter what they annex. It doesn't matter where the embassy is. You know, it's all the same. And it's all going to, I think, escalate at some point until the final war, which is probably going to be here.
Do you think the
Syria,
proving
Iraq,
ground or the conflict of resolution ground will be in Syria? Do you think it's going to be in your country?
Well, they say, well, I don't know that, but the religious people, you know, like the Bible people and the Quran people who are watching all of this end times business, they say that it's going to be somewhere in between Syria and Iraq. And I guess it's a whole region. I mean, you can't really localize it and pinpoint it like that because the tensions are everywhere in this area. So I don't see it really being localized like that and tidy in these ways, you know?
Because remember, we got a little bit of unsettling disturbances on the Indian-China, India-Sindhu border there. They're constantly exchanging...
yeah, what's going on with that, Mike?
Well, this has been going on since the 1960s, okay? And
but there was something more recent, right?
Like yeah. It's been on and off. But recently, again, China advanced another 20 kilometers into India territory. This was like 3 days ago. And then convoys from India are bringing in convoys along the border to, I guess, create more, more of a defense. And it's been going on. And I think this is going to actually result into a lot bigger of a situation than China could handle, because you got the South China Sea that's in tensions right now, huge tensions right now in the South China Sea area, especially with what's happening with Hong Kong, and then now you got China putting their eyes on Taiwan. Man, it's gonna be, I don't know, man. Middle East. You know, in all fairness, Layla, a lot of the biblical, like the Quran, the Bible, end times people, the only places they knew back in the day was the Middle East, right? When the Bible, well, they had the Roman Empire, but the only places they could geographically pinpoint the end of the world is obviously going to be here where we are, and that's basically where it was written, right? But now, geographically, I'm seeing a lot of problems, man. I'm talking like in China, Chinese Indian border. You're seeing a lot of economic takeovers. Like, remember we discussed this a few weeks ago, Layla, how one of our biggest mines in Canada was sold to China? Like, and you asked in the comments, how are the people allowing it? Are they even legally allowed to do that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, they are and they're not, right? Because Canada is actually a corporation, and we don't own that corporation. It's the Crown that owns the corporation.
Right.
So the Crown can't decide, and I think these things are still decided, which is why you see all of these things happening in the Commonwealth, and also the same sort of things happen all over the Commonwealth because it's a centralized government that sits in London, in the city of London, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. But I think when it comes to the Middle East, well, it's the prophecy thing. It's hard for any of the parties, any of the religious parties, to let go of these prophecies. I think they're all working towards the prophecy. And it's the Jewish people, or no, that's really not fair to say. It's really the Zionist agenda that targeted Israel. Like apparently back then there were other options for where the Jewish settlements would be set up, and there were parts of the United States and parts in Eastern Europe, I think, that were candidates for an Israeli state. But I think the biblical thing sort of won over. And then that happened. And I don't think it's going to work. I really think that they're wasting their time. The Lebanon thing is at a stalemate right now. The Lebanese pound keeps sort of dropping every now and then. It's gone up a little bit in the couple of weeks, but then it drops back. So it looks like it's sort of hovering around an average against the dollar. And the reason for that is because of, again, Hezbollah's weapon. Like, any story they tell you, Mike, I want to advise you to take it with a grain of salt, because Hezbollah is the main resistance on the Israeli border.
Right.
And the war against Syria was lost, and the Yemenis keep winning against Saudi.
Oh, the Yemenis are gaining ground, and it's just like
keep gaining ground.
It reminds me. You know what it reminds me of? When England invaded France, I don't know, for so many years, and then France retaliated and went back to England to attack them on their mainland.
Yeah,
and that's what's going to happen now. Yemenis are going to go
assaults.
back now and start sending fire and projectiles their way now. Oh, okay, it looks like they're dying off. Let's go back their way.
Exactly. So, and that's been going on for a long time. The Yemeni thing is a bit younger than everything else with Israel, but Israel didn't make a dent into the Middle East. Like, a lot of people locally are pessimistic about this, but when you look at the map, Israel didn't make a dent towards the Greater Israel Project, and it's been 70 years. We're close to a century now, so I'm not seeing this as a successful project, and I think they recognize that. And a lot of people leave Israel. The immigration numbers are always inflated as an immigration to Israel, because they're always boasting about settlements and we're going to annex this and annex that. And a lot of experts locally say that these numbers are false and inflated, and even Israeli analysts will even say that. And I think that they're starting to look east. So if you look at Georgia, the country of Georgia, for example, Kazakhstan is a freaky place. You should look into that. And a few other locations over there, they seem to be eyeing those places as a potential backup, or as another place where more Israeli or Jews, I guess they're not Israelis yet, can immigrate to, And then Mike, when you're talking about China, it's like China doesn't have enough problems, right? But actually China is, along with Russia, they are a part of the agenda, because they are regionalizing, so it's like the European Union, the NAFTA. They want to integrate all of these countries around them and gain ground, because they want to centralize governments more and more, which will trickle up to the one world government, which is the goal, which is an Agenda 2030 and 2021 goal. And that's not a conspiracy. It's in the books. You can go look it up. You can go.
One world government.
There's a PDF. Not a conspiracy.
No, I believe you. I believe you, Layla. We talked about this. I understand that. But you know what it is, Layla? We're still living in times where we don't have a one world religion, so it won't. I just don't see it working.
I'm not too sure about that, Mike, because our definition.
I just don't see it working.
Agreed. But you know what? Your definition of a religion might not be their standard definition of a religion. So when you look at, for example, everyone wearing masks, okay? or everyone kneeling. Remember that day, take a knee thing? Okay, so these people, they're obsessed with symbolism and ritual, and you see it everywhere. And it's not a standard religion in the way that you and I know it, but it's working for them. All of the programming and everything in the media, how everyone dresses, for example, all sorts of personal branding kind of things. They could all of these elements are part of their religion because they work with symbols and you see them everywhere and they spread them everywhere. So when people, for example, when so many people wear masks, like a lot of people are saying, well, that is like a gag order, right? It's like you're being silenced. It's symbolic and it's not symbolic. You know what I mean? Take an E, it's symbolic and it's not really symbolic. It is really a subjugation of the people.
It is.
It is literally, you know what I mean? So
It is.
so it seems to be working really well. The way they do it is pretty clever. It's literal and it's not literal, and it's working on all levels. So these are elements that can work for a religion. And then everything leftist, everything leftist or extreme leftist.
But a lot of
It's also a lot of these people are, you can't argue with them. You can't have a conversation with them. They're completely dogmatic. They're dogmatic people. It's not possible to have a rational conversation with a lot of people anymore. We're past the point of a rational conversation. It's and all of these can be religious dogmatism, in their terms. And of course, you've got so many big rituals, like for example, the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is a massive satanic ritual. I mean, every year it is so carefully engineered with
and they throw all the little symbols in there.
Right? All the time, and there's plenty of things like that all over the place. And then there is the actual religions that have been hijacked, right?
Yep.
And there's a lot of ritual around that. Like a lot of people say that when the Pope in the Vatican says something like, what was it? Thank the sun, Lord of the Light.
You know what?
That he's
Again,
not he's to the Son of God. He's referring to the Sun God.
The sun. I know what he. And you know what? I don't give a darn what the Pope. I don't give a darn what the Pope has to say, Layla. The Pope isn't my leader. My leader is in me, and it's my soul, and it's my relationship that I have with Jesus and God. It's my relationship.
Well, yeah, good for you, Mike. But a lot of people aren't like that. Like I have, for example, my boss, or who was previously my boss, just recently in TELS. He's a really good person, and he's a really good Catholic, and he's a really smart person. It will shock you that he's really smart. You can't go anywhere near these ideas with someone like my boss. It's impossible. There are a million prerequisites before you can get to that point. Impossible. So yeah, but there are plenty of people. And what I mean to say is that I think they think that it doesn't matter if people believe that what they're doing is ritualistic. I don't think they care. It matters more to them that it spreads, and that the energy goes around. And it does, and it works. And you see all of these people at the Super Bowl. You see all of these people in the Vatican. You see all of the people in Saudi Arabia in the pilgrimage, and all sorts of different locations that are. I think they're not true faith. It's more idolatry. You know what I mean? And we know what's the price of idolatry.
Yes.
So that's my thought on that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this map here. I got the map open here behind me. And
map of what?
Of the Middle East here. I'm looking at Lebanon, Damascus. You are south of Damascus, you said?
Southeast.
Southeast. So you're by Bawidin?
Do you want to zoom in? Try to look up Sweda. It should be spelled Sweidya. I think that, no, D-A. I think that's how they tend to spell it. That's where I am.
Sweda. Okay, so
it should be on the map. It's not that tiny.
Dalam, Halan, Kebab. Are you south of Haritin?
I don't know. I don't know what you're saying. It doesn't sound Arabic to me.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
South.
you could just Google it. If you just Google it, it will show up.
Oh, I just want to
Google
find
it
it the
on
old-fashioned way.
Oh, okay.
So
Take
if
your
you go
time.
south of Damascus, southeast, you said, right?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. it should be.
Hazam is a big city. Hazam.
Don't know what that is, Mike. That doesn't sound Arabic.
Al Monte. Oh. Jub
Just
as
Google it.
Safa.
No, just Google it.
All right, spell it for me.
SWEIDA. Sometimes there's an AS at the beginning.
Ah, here we go. Oh, that's actually a pretty big city.
It's okay. I think it's 300,000. It's not a pretty city though. Some towns nearby are so much prettier.
Okay, but it's a pretty big city. You are, yeah. Okay, I see the state you're in. The state or the province you're in here. I see
The province. They're governorates, but yeah.
Interesting. I do know a bit of the Arabic alphabet. Aleph, B, K. I know how to read some of it.
You don't have to. It's okay. It's hard.
No, it's not that hard actually. Aleph, B, Ka, E.
Well, the alphabet is maybe not hard, but the language can be.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the Roman languages. They have declensions.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, and read it backwards. Al-Masanaf. And then this one says here, Alamin.
I don't know what you're reading. Doesn't sound Arabic.
Al-Harak.
And I'm not seeing your screen, yeah, Mike? I'm not.
Al-Harak. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just practicing my Arabic here, guys.
Yes.
So yeah, okay. So you are actually quite a ways from Lebanon. You are quite a way. You're nestled southeast, basically in the bottom of the province there.
We've been looking at so we did a bit of tourism. I might be able to pull off a video. I'm going to see, and I'll share it or put it on YouTube or something so you can see, but it wasn't where I am. It was in the very northwest of Syria, right on the border with Turkey. That was a fantastic trip. I swam in the sea. I didn't swim in the sea for such a long time, and that water was just fantastic. I mean, it is really worth spending a month right out there. It's a beach, and just 10 minutes up is the mountain. It's one of those areas where the beach is really close to the mountains. It's really, really fantastic. So maybe I'll be able to put something together and show you that. Maybe do a few things around here, and then we're aiming to go to Damascus. But we haven't been able.
You there? Hello? We lost her. Poor connection, reconnecting. Yeah, guys, you need to understand, this is a biblical country. So this country, Syria, Iraq was known as Mesopotamia. Syria is I think it's got the oldest borders in the Middle East. I think Syria's borders are the oldest. I think so in biblical, because the Syrians were definitely a force you did not mess with. Even the Egyptians were scared of the Syrians and the Ephesians and the different empires. Yeah, Iraq was known as Mesopotamia. That was the those guys, the Babylonians, right? So, all right, we lost her. Okay, guys, we're wrapping it up. It's 3 hours. I'm blacking out here. And yeah, lots to see here, man. Lots of world to see, you know. All right, guys, you know what time it is, right? It's time to play the national anthem one last time.
Gemini King, Mike in the night, and the Gemini crew. Ooh.
Oh. Lost it again.
the world. Give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night.
Oh, it's Mike in the night, people.
Mike in through the night, you're here with Mike in the night.
Tired, man.
Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike in through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd,
so let's just talk about the world.
'Cause you're here with us tonight. Mike in through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike in through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another curl, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
Remember, guys, take care. And if you can't take care, please stay safe. Have a good one.